Last time on Square Roots. Fly this way in your ship of gummy. Yes, it's very easy, you will see, to visit Pirate Land with me. Aladdin too. And then there's, guess who? It's Pumpkin Jack.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I am joined by Matthew Van Zant.
Hello, Jim. Hello, friends.
John, my darkest enemy, Brandon.
I recall your yellow cotton dress foaming like a wave on the ground around your knees.
All right, and Vanessa.
I'm Vanessa.
And this is a podcast where we play and talk about your favorite classic RPGs like Kingdom Hearts 2, The Deuce.
More like Kingdom Hearts Poo, the Poo.
Because it's like, are you talking like it's slang?
Guys, I have an announcement to make.
What's that?
A big one. I finished Kingdom Hearts 2.
Whoa.
You did way early.
Matt loves... Well, how far are we through this game?
We feels like we're pretty close. The problem is you have to run through all the worlds again, but they're all shorter the second time around, and because you don't have to re-explore, and they're just set in the same setting. Like, they don't do anything extra.
Right.
So you just have to go back to each world and then go to the final world, which does take a couple hours.
So 2 more episodes, you think?
Yeah, that sounds about right to me. I don't know. What do you think, Jim?
I'd say 3.
Okay.
So we'll do
What?
We'll do half of the worlds we got to redo next one, and then there'll be an episode, and then another episode where we just do like the final stuff.
Okay.
We could maybe see if we can get our friends to get a little ahead and kind of leave it up in the air. Like, how many worlds are we going to cover, John and Vanessa?
Well,
You know?
we do have to tell our listeners during this episode what we're going to play next time.
We could fudge a little. We can
trick them. We can
trick
tell
'em.
them whatever we want, and they'll believe it, too.
It's a podcast. They can pause it and come back when they finish those levels, you know? It's not an interactive medium.
I think like the
It is.
episode between the last of the regular worlds and the end world, we can talk about the rest of Atlantica, the rest of the Winnie the Pooh stuff, and then any side
Well, I
junk.
didn't finish that part of Kingdom Hearts 2.
Well,
And I won't.
Those Pooh mini games, I've done 2 of them, and they are, oh boy. Oh boy.
I think
Well,
they're
guys,
fine. There's like 5 of them, and they're all pretty easy. You just kind of do them. It's like the gummy ships. I got to admit, I don't love gummy routes or whatever in this game, but I never found one hard. So
I die
don't-
in those gummy ship sections all the time.
I don't know how. Maybe are you
Everybody
playing on
has
hard,
Did you know
though?
you can
Skills.
hold down the shoot button to like line up a bunch of missile shots?
I tried that. So I put it back to not full auto, and so that it works properly. And then I think I was relying on it too much, and I died anyway. So I have to like combine I hate how it works. It's missiles and the regular
just,
shot should
like-
be 2 different buttons.
All I did was like X, hold X, X, hold
Yeah,
X,
that's
X,
kind of how I
hold
had to
X.
do it.
And then with my left stick, I just kind of did a circle around the screen the whole time, and nothing
That's what
ever
I
hit
did,
me.
too.
And I killed everything, and I collected all of the power-ups, and like it was so easy. Are you playing it on hard, though? Maybe
no,
you are.
normal. I'm playing on normal.
I don't know. I
just
just
John's
played on
playing
hard.
it on
I'm
critical
just
mode.
bad at
It's okay, Johnny. I'm bad at the gummy ship stuff, too. I mean, not this time, but I remember the first time I played the game, it was real hard for me.
Yeah, it was a
and
lot
I
hard.
didn't
It was a
like
lot
it.
worse than the first one. This one's a
When
lot
I had
easier.
little child hands, it was very hard, but now that I'm an adult
when it was
man,
hard for me to push the buttons with my little baby fingers. But you know,
like where
you
this-
have strengths in games that Matt doesn't, like being able to talk to the NPCs and pay attention to the dialogue.
Yes, that's true.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're good at driving race cars,
I am good at driving race cars.
You're the best driver.
and Matt sucks at it. Anyways, so guys, before we crack open Jimmy's journal, we got a lot to cover in this episode, but let's talk about how we leveled up. Vanessa, why don't you kick us off?
Oh, Jim. Oh, John. Oh, Matt. I was so brave today. I put on my little Misky mask and I went to a department store for the first time in a whole year.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Listeners.
What department store?
Well, I guess it's not really a department store. It was Kohl's.
Oh, yeah, Kohl's. I would call that a department store, I think.
I'd never
That's
been to
definitely
one.
a department store.
It was my first Kohl's experience. I went there because they have a Amazon return desk thing. And I went to return a package. And then while I was there, I purchased 2 T-shirts. But yeah, I went in thinking it would be like a TJ Maxx or something, but it was a little classier than that. Sort of like in between that and a Macy's or something. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah.
The point is, I've been super locked down because there's a lady I love very much. Her name is Vanessa's mom. And in order to maintain my contact with Vanessa's mom throughout quarantine, I have been saint-like in my isolation. But now
Wow.
I'm fully vaccinated, and I went to a store.
Is Vanessa's mom fully vaccinated?
Yes, she's been for a while now.
She went to a store because her vaccines were more. I don't know. Sorry, I'm trying
That was
my
great.
best.
No, thanks, John. Yeah, actually, Vanessa's mom came too, and we were thinking about getting some like food to go while we were out. But after one store experience, we were both like, "That's enough. Run away." Very scary stranger danger. But I'm going to try to start acclimating myself to being a citizen of the flesh world again, and not just the online world. But it's scary, and the mask does make my face go sweaty, even though I got a very fancy mask. And that's how I leveled up. Jim, how did you level up?
I have been since probably...
Oh, wait, I remember another one of my level ups. I played and finished Resident Evil 8. I did the whole
No,
game
you didn't. You
You
didn't.
did not.
Oh.
I
You're a liar.
played and finished Resident Evil 8.
No
I
spoilers.
started playing at like midnight, maybe 12:30 on Friday morning. Played for like, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes, went to bed, got up, played some more. Played most of Friday and finished on Saturday, and I am currently halfway through my second playthrough.
I
Wow.
helped.
Yeah, Vanessa watched me stream for a little over 2 hours on Friday. I got through one of the 4 lords areas. I won't say any more than that for spoilies.
Don't say anything.
Yeah, but it was great fun. It's very spooky, and the game looks fantastic. The combat's super fun, and the crafting is cool, and I like the merchant guy. All the villains are neat. It's got this kind of fairy tale aesthetic, which is super cool. And I really like Ethan Winters as a protagonist, and this is very much an Ethan Winters story. So super into it. I recommend it. And it was fun. Some of our listeners watched too. I got to talk about some Resident Evil lore, which is fun. So yeah, I would say check out Resident Evil 8 for sure.
I also turned on ray tracing in Resident Evil, and it is a sharp-looking game when you're playing it, in high settings like that.
Yeah, this is probably the first, I mean, besides Assassin's Creed, which I couldn't really get into, the first, like, kind of next-gen game, optimized for next-gen game that I've played and, like, all the way through, and, man, it's great. 0 load times, the game runs super smooth, the audio is great, the sound design in that game is amazing. So yeah, I'm a big fan.
It was really fun to watch you stream. As you gentlemen know, I have a cold, icy heart, so I don't feel human emotions like fear. but I do enjoy watching people who do experience human emotions experience them. And that's why Jim is a great horror streamer, because he has authentic reactions.
I'm very sensitive to scary video games, and during the stream yesterday, there was a scary part that I had to like talk myself down a couple times where it's like, all right, Jim.
Yeah,
it's fine.
He did.
Just,
it was
really?
great.
Just give yourself a minute.
I've only played the first couple hours, but so far, I think the fear factor is way turned down. The first 2 hours of Resident Evil 7 are like the scariest thing that's ever happened.
That is, yeah, some of the most intense video game moments like I've ever experienced in the first 2 hours of Resident Evil 7. This one doesn't quite hit those highs, but I will say that from like a tension standpoint, it has these little pockets of tension throughout the game, and I think they do all those individual ones really well, rather than in Resident Evil 7, that first 2 hours, it never hit that high again in the rest of the game, like ever.
Resident Evil 7 did scare me because human beings are real and they are frightening. But I'm not usually scared of monsters. But of course, it's easier to not be scared when you aren't playing the game, because you don't have a responsibility to keeping Mr. Winters alive.
Now, we do, I think, has it been established that I am the most scaredy-catist at horror games of the four of us? Because I think I am. Like, I get freaked out so easily. Like, I started playing, I love those Fatal Frame games, but I get to the first boss and I'm like, I can't do this.
That's how I am with horror games, John. Like, I will just drop them.
Yeah.
And be like, nope, not built for this.
I mean, I did that to Outlast.
Evil...
That game, I got an hour into it and was like, I hate this.
Yeah.
all you have is a camera.
Resident Evil 7 and 8 were the first ones. Like, it took me 2 years to really beat Resident Evil 7 because I was so afraid of it. And then a few months ago, I just did it and loved it. And so, like, once I like kind of power through it a little bit, I can get past it. I hit a point yesterday when Vanessa was watching me stream where I was like, am I going to be able to do this? But I did it.
It was just that one particular thing that didn't sit well with you.
It freaked me out. I don't know if I actually like screamed. It was close to a scream probably on stream. I yelled loudly. It scared the heck out of me.
Mm-hmm. I do remember you going down a hallway, and I won't say what the thing was, but you were saying like, please no thing, please no thing, please no thing, please no thing.
I need to take a clip of the last stream I did where I was fighting Book Guy, the guy who attacks you with the book in his abstract silhouette or whatever. And I yelled out of anger, not out of fear, so loud, and I'm very glad I didn't wake my roommate up because he was sleeping.
Is it easy to go back and do clips of your old streams, John?
Yeah, as long, you have settings. Mine are keeps them online for 3 weeks. That's something you can enable. So during that time, you can go back through, and then anyone, like I can, or anyone who goes, like you could do it to mine, make a clip and call it a highlight, and then that saves. So people can make clips of you being stupid or whatever and share it.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. I might go and find my initial reaction to the thing that I was afraid of, because I screamed.
Of getting so mad at Kingdom Hearts 2 and like swearing at it and talking about what a terrible game is and how much I hate it.
John, how did you level up?
Sorry, Matt. Last again. I leveled up I've been watching Drag Race Down Under, the Australia and New Zealand version of Drag Race. There is one her name's Anita something. Anita Wiglet.
Anita Wiglet. And
Anita Wiglet is the most positive person I've ever seen in my life. Like, it's kind of a visual thing, but Anita reacting to everything's like, I just love it. I just love it. I'm having such fun. This is incredible. This is the best thing that's ever happened to me. And my reaction to Rue liking my thing, I can't believe it. And Ryu's like, are you always so happy? You should try not being quite so happy all the time. Cause Anita is very happy. I've been watching, a sketch comedy show. I think it's called, the Black Women Sketch Comedy Show. And that's not me being racist.
That's on HBO, right?
Yes.
John, what's the actual title? Buddy?
No, that's what it's called. And that's been pretty fun. It's on Crave here. So I've been watching that. I like sketch comedy shows. Like, other than Mad TV, the one sketch comedy show I do not like.
That show's bad. It makes me feel bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
It makes me feel gross.
I don't know how that ran
it.
for as long as it did, and then in syndication on Comedy Central for a long time, and it was bad the whole time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is good.
I watched a lot of it, though.
So I've been watching that, and I downloaded, because it is now on Game Pass, the game Dragon Quest Builders 2. So I just started that last night. It was played for a few minutes. It was fun. It's very cute.
Last night I opened up my Xbox app to see if anybody was online playing PUBG, and I saw both of Matt's Xbox Live accounts both online at the same time, both playing Dragon Quest Builders 2.
Oh, were you playing with a kid?
No, I don't know why it would be like that, but I did finally set up my other account on there so I can play in my old PUBG with all my skins. But I lost my chicken dance. What a bummer! Because I didn't log on with that account when it was free.
But you never dance, Matt, so it's no loss.
Oh, I always dance when you're not around and when Jim's not around.
Oh, it's so cruel.
and Matt runs away from me, too.
That's not true at all, and you know it.
I started playing Titanfall 2 because that's another game. I tried playing Titanfall 1, and I just didn't like that.
Sucks.
Everything is multiplayer, like the single player story is just. I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. But I started Titanfall 2, and it's like, you know that game where you got that like you got that big monster, but it's your friend and it's helping you solve puzzles. The Last Guardian. It's like that, but instead of a big fuzzy animal, it's Optimus Prime is your last Guardian.
Yeah, it's great. He's so cool.
It is. That game has, hands down, this is not hyperbole, one of my like top 3 single player first person shooter campaigns ever. It is fantastic.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It has some of the most creative level designs I've ever seen in a game. Like, it's up there with some of the crazy Dishonored level designs. Like, some of the best stuff you've ever seen.
And it's just written so well. It's such a great sci-fi story.
Yeah.
The mechanics are so solid. It's just a great game.
It's so weird that, I don't know if you've played Apex Legends, but they're set in the same universe, and it's weird when the stuff like from Titanfall is in Apex and vice versa.
Yeah, I think it's neat the way they've kind of threaded those two franchises together.
Yeah. Matt, how did you level up?
Ooh, you guys are going to love this. I started playing the hottest new cyberpunk game out there. All of your cyberpunk dreams come true in this city. You guys know what city I'm talking about.
What is Night City?
No, I'm talking about Ghost Runner.
Oh.
What?
What's that?
I bought a game called Ghost Runner. It was on sale on the Xbox store. It was published by 505 Games, I think. I think that was the sale. Anyway, it's like a cyberpunk game where you're a ninja. It's all first person, and there's a lot of like first person parkour type stuff, like you would expect from like a Mirror's Edge type game. Lots of wall running and air dashing, and there are also enemies around who will shoot you or who you can chop to bits and pieces. And the game is all about one-hit combat mechanics. So if they hit you once, you die, and if you hit them once, they die, which is great because you're a ninja, so you have a sword, and you splatter them into a million pieces, and it's cool. And you can block bullets with your awesome sword, and you get crazy powers. And it's just like a pretty simple game. It focuses really heavily on this one concept of like first-person parkour, hardcore melee. In a lot of ways, it reminds me of games like Super Meat Boy in that there's a lot of checkpoints, and the respawn is super fast. And it's the type of game where you expect to get killed and killed and killed and killed and killed until you finally like hit that perfect run through this area and, you know, block all the bullets and chop all the guys in half and destroy their shields before they can get you. Like it is pretty fucking great, actually. It's hard though. But I think the game would be right up Jim's alley, actually. Jim, maybe Johnny too. It's cheap and it's fun. A fun, like, single player experience that's just focused on like speed and combat. And
what would you compare
gameplay.
it to?
I mean, I would say that it's like Mirror's Edge, but with like with combat, but like first part, because you don't have a gun, you just have a sword, so it's not an FPS. It's a first person like melee game, but you one hit
like
everything.
Shadow Warrior-y.
There's a lot of, but it's all really fast. So it's a lot of like wall dash, kill from above, use your air dash to get away from the guy that's shooting at you, go up the wall again, use your teleport to get behind him, hit him in the back with the sword. Real slick controls and real like slick design because it's really super tightly focused on this one thing. It's got a plot kind of going on, but it's kind of just happening over you're just kind of talking about it while you run through these levels. Killing bad guys. You're like a cyber ninja. It's awesome. Legit. Check it out. It's, or maybe I can stream a little bit of it if you're interested in seeing it. Like, it's really fun. It's hard. But it's one of those things where like you do a level a few times and then you're like, okay. And you can pop through and like, all right, this guy that killed me 10 times. Now I kill him every time because I've run it so many times. It's a runner type game. You know, it kind of seems built for like speed running, but it's also pretty fun just as a solo experience. Anyway, that's how I leveled up. And Ghost Runner is the name of the game. Check it out, ladies and gentlemen. It's a lot of fun. It's cool.
Let's all have a seat and crack open Jiminy's journal.
Should I sit crisscross applesauce, Papa Jim?
I'd prefer it if you sat on my lap, actually. While I'm patting my knees so suggestively.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to come sit in your lap, and if you would just crack open...
Crap open.
Yeah, if you would crap open Jiminy's journal, we could get this show started. Oh, he's got a beard, and it's so tickly and snuggly. Vanessa and John, are you going to join me up here in Papa Jim's lap?
Papa John's lap. No, thank you.
Yeah,
Jack's lap.
good.
Okay, you guys are missing out. I got my PJs on, the footy pajamas.
Mm-hmm. No, thank you. I think we'll
yeah.
pass.
I think I'm good over here in my wing of the Square Roots house, just sort of watching what's going
Thanks for this
on.
excellent, like, yes and content, by the way. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
Let's go to the Pride Lands.
Oh boy. So Vanessa, what happens first in the Pride
John!
Lands?
John! Oh.
See, Vanessa was doing things in a weird order, and it seems to have bugged out a little bit, so she never got the first chance to unlock the Pride Lands, and now she's in the part where she played along to the part where it gets locked, so now she has to unlock it again so she can do the first part. So she hasn't even seen Sora in cub form. Which does look like an original furry character. Do not steal.
My non-linear lifestyle has foiled me again. Sad.
Think you can just do whatever you want. Play these worlds in any order you please.
Yeah. Well, I finished Pumpkin Land, and then the big city was like, hey, a new thing to do over here. So I'm like, I'll just go do that. And by the time I was done, everything was locked up tight.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let us tell you about the Pride Lands.
No spoilers.
Well, this whole thing is just basically the plot of The Lion King.
and Matt's not here, because I was going to ask everyone, but I guess I can ask Jim and Vanessa. What's your experience with The Lion King?
What a unusual question.
I would say that I have seen The Lion King.
Mm-hmm.
And I like it, but
Okay.
I don't love it. Some
So
people, The Lion
you
King
and your
is like
college
their
friend
thing.
weren't calling each other Simba and Nala.
Vanessa was Scar.
It wasn't one of my favorite Disney movies. I tend not to like the ones that are about animals quite as much as I like the ones that are about people.
Why?
Because, I don't know, because I like people.
I like people.
I like people.
I like people. Because I can't get a crush on a lion. Not like that
you
dreamy
can.
Aladdin or that
There's a
strapping
whole
princess. I said
community.
I, me, Vanessa.
Okay.
Me, person who, there's Aladdin and that dreamy Prince Eric and the Beast, I guess. Now lines are getting blurred. Well, anyway.
Jim, what's your Lion King experience?
Similar to Vanessa in that I've definitely seen it, and I feel like it's been such a persistent part of pop culture since it came out. It's hard to hate it just because it's everywhere, and I'd imagine you'd be annoyed all the time if you hated it.
Oh God, yes.
But it's fine. I don't like revere it like a lot of people do, but it's okay.
What about Matt? I think Matt said before it's his favorite Disney movie.
I love The Lion King. I saw it 12 times in theaters when I was
What?
like 13. I
Whoa.
loved
12
it.
times?
When it
You were
hit the
13?
dollar, when it hit like the dollar theater, I went nuts. Remember how movies used to go to the theater for a long time and then would go to like the dollar theater for a long time? They used to have dollar theaters where it was a
I do
dollar.
remember those, yeah.
There were a bunch in Dallas. I used to go to them all the time. I loved them. That was I saw everything. I just saw it 3 months after it came out.
Did I tell you about the Dollar Theater in Montreal where I used to go? And this was like 2015. This was just before we started the podcast. And Julio and I would go, and it was like, $2. It was a $2 theater. But sometimes there'd be real copies, and sometimes you'd see them like pull up their PC and it'd be like 720p rip that we were watching with Chinese hard-baked subtitles. It was
That's
insane.
amazing. When's the last time you watched it?
I watched it with the kids not too long ago.
Did you watch
Maybe
the live action
6 months?
version?
No, I've never. Oh, yes, I did. Yes, that's the last time I watched it because I watched the live action version and I was like, I liked that, but it felt like it was The Lion King, but like with a lot of the charm taken out. And I ended up watching the regular Lion King with the kids one day. I'm like, let's watch this.
I saw the live action version, and I know I saw it. I went to the theater and I watched it with my daughter. But if you put a gun in my head and asked me to tell you, to describe the movie or if I liked it or not, I have no memory of it. I cannot do it. I don't. It just left my brain immediately as soon as I left the theater. I cannot remember a thing.
Oh,
about
the live
it.
action one. Yeah, I mean it's just The Lion King again. There's one song I think that's different. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, it's basically the same songs too. Yeah,
yeah, and they cut. It's just not. It's just a lot of the charm's gone, but it's still okay. They
lot of the
look
songs
pretty good.
Most of the songs are re-recorded songs from the first movie, but they're worse.
Yeah, but they're still such good songs, though. That's the thing. They're very good songs.
My experience with The Lion King is that...
Nobody asked you.
Well, I know, because I'm just going to shit on it for about 1 minute. So you might want to just skip ahead skip ahead a minute.
Who could shit on The Lion King? What is there to shit on? It's a delightful piece of media.
I genuinely,
Kids movie.
looking back now, I don't know why I hated it so much. But I think it was, I didn't like the songs and they were everywhere that summer. You could not get away from both Can You Feel the Love Tonight and The Circle of Life. And I just hated those songs.
Man, those songs are great.
So much. And I just thought it was...
they're great songs.
I mean, I know it's Hamlet, and I like Hamlet, but I don't like Lion Hamlet. And so this is basically... The Pride Lands is basically...
Can you feel
Is basically Lion Hamlet. So Hamlet is Simba. Simba's dad is Mufasa, who's not really in. You only see his like ghosts in Hamlet. You don't see Hamlet's dad.
Nope,
He already
I fucked
dead
up.
before the start. And but Simba's mom is not a character, so she doesn't marry Scar. So
Simba's mom is a character.
Is
She is. She's in
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
does she marry Scar?
No, Scar wants
Okay.
to marry Ophelia, I think. Or maybe she does, but they don't talk about it very much because, you know, I mean, he's the lion now, so...
Yeah, they're lions, so it's probably more like he just kind of took the pride, right?
Yeah.
I haven't seen Lion King in almost 30 years, so I don't have a
I mean,
lot to
there's
say
a litter
about
of
it.
Scar's babies, is all I'm saying.
Oh,
that we
well,
never
yeah.
I
hear
think
about.
the sequel deals with that, like Simba's
Maybe.
kid and Scar's kid or something like that.
Well, do you?
John,
I don't
If
remember
that's
there
not
ever
the
being
second
a
one, it's
Scar's
definitely the
kid.
third one.
Does the sequel suppose that evilness is hereditary?
I don't think so.
That it's actually about overcoming that perception, I
Oh,
believe.
well, that's good. That's good. There was a terrible Redwall. I don't know if you ever read any of those Redwall books about the mice.
Oh,
I hate all those
sure.
Redwall
Almost.
books.
I read
There's
a ton
going to
of
be. Did you really? There's going to
Yeah.
be a Netflix show, right? Or is it something?
Yeah,
Somebody's
there
got
is. It's
something
based
coming.
on the
There-
first two books, maybe.
They were good, but then they got to the one about, was he a rat or something? They had like one of the bad guy species, but there was a young one and they trained him to be good, but then he turned
I remember
bad.
that, John.
And that's when I
Yeah.
stopped reading the books. I was like, this is racist and shitty. Like
Yeah, I didn't like that one either.
that.
I loved those Redwall's
Yeah.
books for maybe like a year, where I
yeah,
just
me too.
poured through a bunch
And
of them.
that one just
Yeah.
killed it for me because it was like, no, he's a rat or badger or something, so he can't be good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck you. What the
That's
fuck
terrible.
is this?
I don't think I read that one. I read the one about the lady mouse with the gull whacker. That was my favorite.
Yep. I like the later ones where he would do them about like hares and stuff, and not just about mice.
Right.
But I remember I was reading it at like towards the end of the run. I think he published like a few more after I kind of got on the bandwagon. I remember like special ordering them from Europe from England, because you couldn't get them. They would publish over there like 6 months before they would publish here. That's how into the Redwall books I was at one point. But they do get, once you hit a point where like they're a little too young and they're not quite YA even. They're just a little, and also they're very repetitive.
They're very like fun, simply told books.
Yeah.
It's fun
I
to
would
read.
like to have a Redwall feast where you eat all of the things that they eat in the book, because it was always so good at describing what they're eating. These like
You do that
page-long
by purchasing the
descriptions.
Redwall cookbook.
What?
Is there a Game
Yep.
of Thrones cookbook where you eat lots of honeyed mutton and stuff?
Probably.
And milk of the puppy?
There's an Elder Scrolls cookbook. I was looking at getting it for my mother for Mother's Day.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, super fun.
Yeah. So let's go. Let's start going through. I don't want to recap the story of the Lion King because there's Hollow Bastion is like
So yeah, the opening scene kind of tells you everything you need to know, which is it's basically the scene where Mufasa gets killed by Scar.
right. And I forgot everything in this movie. Like I don't remember anything about Lion King. And it's So you see like the was it antelope? A herd of antelope that almost crushed.
No, they're wildebeests.
Oh, okay.
Wildebeests.
Herd of
Those
wildebeest
deadly wildebeests.
that almost kill little cubby Jonathan Taylor Thomas, and then you hear Jonathan Taylor Thomas is it's listed as archival credit.
It is, yes. I thought that was hilarious because they didn't even like it's pulled straight from the film.
Yeah.
Like it's his scream. It's so jarring listening to that like voice come out of that lion.
Yeah. And then he wakes up and he sees some clouds in the shape of a lion. Sora and his friends arrive in the Pride Lands and land in the elephant graveyard. Simba is a lion cub. No, sorry. Let's try this again. Jim, Sora is a lion cub.
Oh. I think I might have done that a couple of times.
And he's all like, it's like a gothy. It looks like someone's furry OC, which I don't mean to trash
It's cute.
furry OCs. It's just like a little overly styled. Like it's got Sora's hair and then like a pendant. And
Yeah, he's wearing his crown pendant.
it's a really ridiculous Hot Topic matchup tee right there.
So I love it though. It's so funny watching Sora use the Keyblade. He puts it in his little mouth.
I think all the animation for Sora as this cub Sora is pretty fun.
Yeah.
Donald is a parrot and Goofy is a turtle again, which just seems like a waste because he's already been a turtle.
Yeah.
Is he not a tortoise?
Maybe he's a tortoise.
tortoise.
He could be a tortoise.
a
You run into
tortoise.
some hyenas. Wasn't Whoopi Goldberg one of the hyenas in the,
Whoopi Goldberg was one
but
of the
not
hyenas,
in this
yeah.
version. Sora tries to run away, doesn't know how to work his legs. They hear Scar roar, and then the hyenas run away to go because they were about to eat Sora, who does not know how to walk. You run into Nala, who is the romantic interest, and she is being chased by some Heartless, and you help her out. She's grateful for the help, and
How grateful is she?
Heyo.
normal grateful. And Sora asks Nala about Riku and Mickey and Pete, and Nala's like, I don't know any of these. Nala explains the deal with Scar and the hyenas and says maybe you can help the kingdom if you come to the Pride Land. Sora thinks that maybe if he beats Scar, they would ask him to be the next king, and he's like, I'll turn it down, of course. I just want to be asked.
I understand that, you know. Who doesn't like to receive proposals?
You get a little cutscene with Lion Pete, which is pretty funny.
Oh, I forgot to put that in there. Yeah.
He's coming in and like convincing Scar to get the help of the Heartless to help him keep keep power. And then when you get to Rafiki, who is the monkey shaman dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
He immediately tells you you'd be a terrible king.
I guess I did like put these names in here just assuming we all know who the characters are, but
I can figure it out. I can figure it out. And maybe if you maybe if Sora stops swinging that Yee-Yee ass Keyblade around,
I did put that in there.
take you seriously. JK, he actually says that whoever saved the Pride Lands will be the next king, so it can't be Sora, because Sora's a dumb baby.
Sora as a lion is the most delightful thing in this game, and I wish that the whole game was like this.
I goth hot topic lion Sora Simba crossover is not my favorite character design.
Do you like it
Well, you're
better
wrong.
or less than Halloween Town Sora?
Oh, Halloween Town Sora in Christmas mode is great. I think that's a really fun design.
So you're
Wait,
okay
John,
with the hot
was it
topic
you
golf
that
sometimes?
said was it you that said you didn't like the Halloween Town version of Sora because you don't like Halloween?
That's
Yeah.
Vanessa.
I mean,
That's not true, Matt. I love Halloween.
I don't like Halloween. Vanessa
Yeah, John, that was John.
loves Halloween.
I'm not a big fan of it either, actually. Take it or leave it.
What's
Na-
not to like?
no Thanksgiving,
Candy
that's
and
for sure.
costumes and fun little spookum surprises.
Let's talk about it when Halloween comes.
Summoning the Dark Lord to
Nala mentions
grant you power to do your deep desires.
Do you want to live delicious?
Yes, please.
Nala mentions the only one who'd be qualified is Simba, but he is dead. Sora's like, oh yeah, Simba, I met him. He's not dead. He's cool. And he's still alive because Sora enslaved him as a summon in the last game, Jim says.
Oh, that's right.
Which is
Yeah,
true.
he was a summon. He was the Earthshine summon.
What?
Sora, Donald, Goofy, and Nala reunite with Simba in the Oasis and befriend his best pals Timon and Pumbaa.
They do a great recreation of the scene of Nala and Simba meeting each other again in the Oasis.
Oh, when she like pounces on him.
Yeah, I don't know why
Yeah.
they did it. They did it like beat for beat. It's but all shitty 3D models. It's really weird.
But in speaking of, like we talked about last week, not getting the licensing for all the Disney songs, like at one point they're saying Hakuna Matata and Pumbaa is doing the Hakuna Matata walk, but there is no Hakuna Matata playing. It's insane. They did not want to pay that composer. That is the only explanation.
Maybe they're just trying to save time and they don't like that song, John.
Yeah, they don't have songs in the other worlds.
Except for Little Mermaid.
Yeah, but that's the whole point
That's
of
not
that
the same.
world.
That's the whole point of that
true.
world.
That's true. So that night,
I'm going to need you to stop actualing Vanessa on this.
Yeah.
Nala tries to talk Simba going back to Pride Rock so he could take his place as king of the Pride Land, but he refuses. The same night, Simba looks up to the sky and remembers what his father told him about past kings of the Pride Land who will always be in the sky to guide him as stars.
Wait, you said Sora. That's Simba.
Oh.
Did I put Sora
No,
in there?
I think it was me getting it wrong.
Ass
See, it's easy
Keyblade.
to get them mixed up.
He tries to call out to his father, and Mufasa appears right in front of him and convinces him to take his rightful place. After talking to his father, Simba tells his friends that he will return to Pride Rock to face his past. Then the sun rises up behind him in something called sympathetic fallacy.
What? Tell me more.
Well, it's a
what's
literary technique where the natural world emphasizes the either the story or the motivations or the feelings of the characters or the piece. So like
That's
penis.
referred to as a fallacy?
yeah, sympathetic fallacy. Like it wouldn't rain just because you're sad, but in a story or in a movie or whatever, it can emphasize the sadness by raining.
Oh, yeah? Well, I was in a bad mood the other day and a storm came.
Ooh.
Explain that.
Well, I
We can't. You're just supernatural.
You're magic.
Maybe you're a storm.
Maybe I
I know
am
that
a
it feels
storm.
a little late in life to start over again, but the owl, I swear to you, is showing up every day. Vanessa Potter.
The owl keeps saying vaguely transphobic things and then getting mad if you call it out on it, though.
I'm just pro-woman. What's wrong with that?
Turf Owl is the newest character on the Square Roots
I like that
podcast.
one. Why are all our
Turf Owl,
characters so
nobody here
conservative?
likes you. Get out of here.
All right.
Remember in those books when Hermione was like, slavery of these like elves is evil, and everyone was like, lol, and then never like talked about it again.
So after talking to his dad, Simba comes back to Pride Rock and you go with him and challenges Scar. But then Scar reminds him of Mufasa's death and then says that Simba was his own father's killer, which makes Simba very sad. And then Scar uses this to like distract him and knock him off the edge of Pride Rock. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I remember when your dad was in this position when I killed him. That's right, I killed him. Ha 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 ha."
I killed Mufasa. It's like the best line of the movie.
Just
Jeremy
kept that
Irons
to
is
himself.
the best.
Yeah.
Things would have worked out.
And then Simba murders his gay uncle.
He had to put a hat on it. He was really proud of what he did.
Listen,
you know? In like a sick way.
as a gay uncle, I admit we all have a hard
The term
time not
is gunkle.
putting. Ugh, I'm not going to say that. I do like putting a hat on
Gunkle
and
Johnny.
overemphasizing my achievements. So I understand, like, you want to, like, brag. Oh, yes, I did kill your dad. And this makes this, like, superpowers Simba and does make him murder his gay uncle. And,
Gunkle.
yeah.
See, his heart wasn't in the fight because he was sad because he's carried the shame of killing his father all these years. But then he has this moment of relief, and the audience has a moment of relief as well when he somehow he does fly like Superman.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun.
Just to kill
Wait, that's
Scar.
18.
He just kind of teleports behind him. It's pretty wild.
You
Cats
have
can
a
jump very far.
That's true. Not my cat. She has a hard time jumping up onto chairs.
Well, she is very chunky.
What are you talking about? She's perfect.
I didn't say she wasn't. Stop equating chunkiness with imperfection, John. You of all people.
So the you do have to do a fight where Timon and Pumbaa are being attacked by the hyenas, and you got to take out the hyenas. This one's because Pumbaa takes damage pretty fast. This one's a little tricky.
Yeah, it is. You got to bounce between the Timon and Pumbaa quite a bit.
Yeah.
Timon, I'm big. Oh, Pumbaa, my life partner. Oh, no.
And then you get up to the top. So after saving Pumbaa and Timon, you get up to the top and you get to see Simba push Scar off the edge of the rock to his assumable death. But then he comes back, like filled with dark energy, and then Sora kills Scar, but I guess the first time's the one that counts. Like heartless undead Scar does not count. Because Pete is like, he's a heartless now, he's going to rule Pride Lands a lot in the darkness. And then you all join forces with Simba to defeat Scar. And Simba is ascended as the new king of the Pride Land. Mufasa's star appears in the sky and reveals a keyhole for Sora to open up so he can continue his journey.
I think the Scar fight is one of the more difficult ones in the game. Maybe not in my last playthrough, but in one of these playthroughs, I lost here a couple times.
Oh.
I thought it was hard.
I had more of a problem with book guy for sure.
Oh yeah,
That one was...
Yeah, I mean he's one of the harder like story bosses. The those absent silhouette organization guys are like on another level.
So I had a problem of unlocking things because the next in our list of last time of where to play to was Hollow Bastion, the second battle. And I didn't realize before you can go to Hollow Bastion, you have to go back to Twilight Town for a little bit.
I forgot about that.
You have to go back to Twilight Town and they tell you that, hey, Kairi was there. And you're like, oh yeah, she just went to the train station. Then you go to the train station and she's not there. And Axel shows up and he's like, hey, just FYI, Kairi's coming with me and we got her now and you won't be able to do anything about it.
Bum, bum, bum.
But Axel doesn't seem like a super bad guy. He's just like, he seems kind of apologetic about the whole thing.
Don't believe it, Johnny. They don't have feelings. They're just pretending to.
He misses his buddy Roxas, and he knows that Sora ate him. Yes, he does. And
he doesn't have any feelings.
And he hopes that maybe he'll see kind of a glimmer of Roxas in Sora, but he doesn't.
He's incapable of feeling sad. Isn't that right, Jim?
That's what they seem to say.
And
I'm not going to spoil anything.
So there's another weird moment here where Cypher gives you the congratulations thing that he's the strongest person in Twilight Town. What's it called? A trophy? I never had one of those. He gives Sora a trophy, and then Sora does drop it on the ground, and all the jewels come out because I guess they're loose, like we saw before. And he does give jewels to Hayden, Pierce, and Koala.
It's Pence, Olette, and Hayner.
Yeah.
Sure, exactly. And
Pointer.
So it's sort of a recreation of the scene before where they had those jewels in the first chunker.
Paunch, and Oolug.
Yeah, exactly. And
Punch, Judy, and Olaf.
And you get like a little bit of a weird flashback. But that's it. This unlocks the next part in Hollow Bastion. Jim, you've included a wiki explainer about Hollow Bastion because it's kind of confusing.
Just as it relates to Tron, because I found that very difficult to grasp. So we don't have to discuss it here at the top. We can wait till we get to Tron World here in a couple minutes.
Tron kind of doesn't make a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah, I needed this paragraph to have everything make sense to me as far as what happened there.
Oh, well, let's just do it. I mean, we're only going to be spoiling like 10 minutes of the podcast.
So yeah, I'll just I'll just read this. Long ago, Ansem the Wise copied a computer system created by Encom for his own computer system and renamed it Hollow Bastion OS, creating the Space Paranoids level. He designed it to be used for Radiant Garden's town maintenance and his personal research.
Sure.
However, after he exiled Ansem, after exiling Ansem and posing as his mentor, Xehanort Norted the system.
What? He did what?
He Norted it.
What?
He Norted it.
What? That's not a.
Did he Nord it? He didn't put himself in it.
That's true.
What's a
that is so like it's a Kingdom Hearts term for characters that are actually Xehanort in disguise, and it's called that character getting Norded.
So is that a term that shows up in the game, or is that like a fan term?
No, it's just a fan term.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So sorry, yeah. So Xehanort alters this computer system, reintroducing the Master Control Program, or MCP, and start from the original system. The data space where all the system's original data was stored was named the DTD after the Door to Darkness. And could be accessed by a password made up from the names of the 7 Princesses of Heart.
Who are in alphabetical order.
Daisy. Ariel.
Yep.
Xehanort.
Yep.
Another Xehanort in disguise.
A Nort.
Pumbaa.
Xehanort's nobody.
Xehanort's nobody. And one
Xehanort's heartless.
more. Yeah, that's it.
Beetlejuice.
No, that's 8.
Old Xehanort.
Y'all, I'm starting to think that you don't know who the Princesses of Heart are.
Okay.
Time traveling
Let's
Xehanort.
see if I can get this, Vanessa.
More like
Vanessa,
Princess
I'm
of
not
Heart.
looking at any
Terranort.
notes.
Okay.
Belle.
Yes.
Ariel.
Yeah.
Sleeping Beauty.
Sure.
No. Nope.
No?
Nope. Wrong.
Alice.
No. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Xehanort.
Alice. Jasmine?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay. I've got 2 more, and one's Kyrie, right? No, 3 more, and one's Kyrie.
Kyrie is.
Yeah. Okay.
Pumpkin Town Girl?
Oh, yeah, Sally?
No.
And
That would have been cool, though.
Not Mulan.
Not a
Simba.
princess and doesn't have a heart.
Not Mulan.
Naminé.
Nope.
Snow White?
No.
Syx.
Okay, who are the other 2 I'm missing?
I'm hoping you're going to guess it because I don't remember.
Sleepy and Dopey.
Oh.
And Doc.
Wait, no. Hold on.
Grumpy. Frozen. Tangled Frozen. Tangled and Frozen
Kingdom
for sure.
Hearts, they were Alice, Jasmine, Kyrie,
Cinderella.
Belle.
Oh, yeah, Cinderella.
Wendy. Did you forget
Oh,
Wendy?
Wendy. I
Was
did
one of
forget
Wendy.
Wendy, yeah.
Was there one more?
There's 7, right? Or is it 6? Oh, there are 7.
That was 7.
No.
Was it?
Alice, Jasmine, Kyrie, Wendy,
You're missing
Belle.
2.
Belle, and
2 more.
There is 2 more.
I thought you just Googled it. How is this
I
still
did. I'm
something
looking at an
that
article,
matters?
but it doesn't list them in order. Hold on.
The Princesses of Heart, in alphabetical order, are Alice, Aurora, who Jim said was wrong.
Ariel?
No.
Oh.
Belle, Cinderella,
Oh, okay. I was thinking
Jasmine.
they were. Oh, sorry.
Kyrie, and Snow White.
Oh, well, so I got 2, and Jim told me they were wrong.
Yeah, I was like, in my mind, I was like, there's no ties to Sleeping
Yeah, it
Beauty in
doesn't
this,
tie-
but then Maleficent
Yeah.
is the
There's
big
no
bad,
ties
so-
to Cinderella.
Yeah.
There's no ties to Peter
to
Pan
Snow
other
White.
than a summon.
No,
you go to Peter Pan
you go
World.
to Peter Pan
You're
World.
flying
the first
around
one.
it. Yeah.
But
in the
Wendy
first
is
one.
not a Princess of Heart.
Well, the Princesses of Heart were more Kingdom Hearts 1 thing, weren't they?
Yeah,
They were a bigger deal in Kingdom Hearts 1.
right.
Okay.
Xehanort.
So Sora goes back to Hollow Bastion
Xehanort in a woman's body.
and sees that there are tons of Heartless just running around. Sora decides to check in with everyone. You run into Crowd. You run into Cloud, who is just hanging out like a real sullen jerk off. He's like leaning against a wall, too cool. He says he's ready. He's asked if I've seen a guy called Sephiroth who has long hair and a sword.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I'm ready to settle things with the one who embodies all the darkness in me, which wasn't a thing in Final Fantasy VII, but whatever. But, this, and then the next part when you see Sephiroth does seem to say Sephiroth is Cloud's Heartless.
That's not a thing.
And
That's not. I didn't take that away from this. But
the second
would.
encounter where Sephiroth is like, we're linked, and there's a reason why I'm the dark side of you. And
Well, I thought that was just because they're both made up of Genova cells.
I think so, but I think in this version of the mythology that, here's the thing. You could say Sephiroth is Cloud's Heartless, or if you want to get real spicy, you could say Cloud is Zack's nobody.
Nobody. Yeah.
And Sephiroth is Zack's Heartless. And that would make more sense as to why they're kind of the same thing. And why he's so drawn to the darkness. And then, so Cloud's voice actor, not super, energetic, but then is made to look like just the most, energetic, vibrant voice actor on the planet because Aerith shows up and she starts talking to Cloud, and the voice acting is kind of like this, Cloud.
This is Mina Suvari, right?
I know, who is a great actress.
Yeah,
I don't know what is happening.
It was like she was mostly asleep when she was reading her lines.
Maybe they
hard to
told her
listen
that
to.
like Aerith is the most gentle character in the whole wide world, so you have to be so gentle and soft when you're doing Aerith voice.
I think that the voice actress of Aerith in Final Fantasy VII Remake did a really good job of capturing that she's gentle and soft, but also fun and vibrant, because this, and Mina Suvari is an actress I really like, and she is awful. Like, distractingly awful. You find Sid at Merlin's house, and he says they found Ansem's computer. And you can find some info on the organization and maybe Riku and Kairi and stuff by going through Ansem's research. On the way, you go into like this weird castle-y dungeon place. And it gets weird because you do run into the Gullwings, and they never say their names, do they? Oh,
Nope.
maybe they don't. Because they might get
You're
confused.
in the castle. Hollow Bastion has a big old castle, like it's Maleficent's castle.
Oh, okay.
And you're in like the postern or whatever. But that's where you're running around, is
Yeah.
like that whole area.
But the Gullwings don't.
You run into the Gullwings, and
They're fairies.
Everything's normal.
no,
Everything's perfectly normal.
I would say that everything is not normal because they are teeny tiny.
They're like Tinkerbells. All three
They're
of them.
Tinkerbells.
And they do seem to be implying they're working for Maleficent. Although they say like our leader, and then they cut each
Yeah,
other
they don't
off.
imply it.
Well, in the first encounter, you meet them again, and then they do say they were working for Maleficent, but gave up and decided to work for you because Donald Duck tells them that they have treasure. But that'll happen in a second. But yeah, Yuna, Riku, and Pain. Yuna, Riku, Pain are there, and they're in their X2 outfits. Of course, Pain was only in X2. And it's great. But why are they fairies? Why are they Tinkerbells, Vanessa? Vanessa, you know.
They are Tinkerbells to represent the advanced magical powers that they pick up during the events of 10-2. I have a question.
I love questions.
Did this game come out before 10-2?
No.
Or after?
This game came out in 2006, I think? 2005, 2006. 10-2
No
was
way.
2003.
Kingdom Hearts 2 did?
Yeah. It was a while. Like, it was like one of the last big PS2 games, along with like Final
05.
Fantasy
Yeah.
12.
December of 05.
Yeah, I was like a couple of years into dating Robbie, or over a year into dating Robbie at that point. So that was that's how I remember these things. Who I was dating at the time.
I was a senior in high school.
Well,
And I wasn't born yet.
2005. You aren't even legal. You can't be watching these adult streaming. Like, that was an erotic adult fantasy we watched last
Listeners,
weekend.
These gentlemen tricked me into streaming Phantasmagoria 2, and
Hang
they
on.
did not tell me.
That's a wild misrepresentation of the truth that will not stand in a court of law.
This isn't a court of law. This is a public
Do we
forum.
need to take this to trial?
Yeah, let's take it to trial.
Jim, you're the presiding judge. John, you're the bailiff.
Okay.
Wait. What's on trial right now?
That we
Whether or not we
misled
tricked
Vanessa?
Vanessa into playing Phantasmagoria
Hold on. I'm also party to this case.
Yeah,
because
that's true.
I will not be
to
an
have
impartial
this trial
judge.
dismissed on the grounds that Jim is not able to preside over it fairly and impartially.
well,
Motion
if
granted.
if
All
the judge is a
mistrial.
defendant.
Shit. Lost again.
Yeah. Wow.
How do I keep losing these slam
don't
dunk
know.
cases?
So we did
It's
trick
because Jim's a terrible judge.
teen. Well, no, I would say Vanessa must have been born in like 98. So she would have been 7 when this game came out. 7 or 8.
Wow, a
Yeah.
real 90s kid, that Vanessa of
Only
ours.
90s kids remember.
Vanessa.
Yeah,
Vanessa.
yeah.
Do you like Imagine Dragons?
Oh, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, the joke there is that Jim and Vanessa went on a D's Nuts joke rampage for 2 days in our chat. And it all started when Jim had told us his favorite joke, which is, do you like the band Imagine Dragons? And then no matter what somebody says, you say, Imagine Dragon D's Nuts across your face.
This doesn't sound like something I'd participate in.
I mean, you were the
definitely
main
did.
instigator of how long it lasted.
This
For
did
sure.
lead me to kind of staying out of the group chat while they got that out of their systems. I'm not a fan of D's Nuts jokes. I think it's one of the few indicators that I am in my 40s.
Hey, hey, Matt. You know the lady from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Yeah, D?
Yeah, she's pretty crazy.
I was surprised that Matt didn't either. I don't think Matt even acknowledged that one.
It was really good. It's a
is really
thinker,
good.
you know? It's an
I mean, I was trying
intellectual
to set it up for her,
D's
and
nuts
she
joke.
failed to deliver
No,
in
it
any
does
reasonable...
deliver. You have to be like, what? And then you think about it and you're like, I get it, because nuts is a synonym for crazy.
Nothing makes a joke funnier than explaining
That's true.
how
Although
it worked.
this whole thing did kick off when my daughter, who's almost 11, told me when I picked her up from school the other day that she heard her first D's Nuts joke. And the one that she told me that she heard, not great. So that's why I had to give her the Imagine Dragons one, because that's a great one.
Okay, Jim, I didn't mention how you had told that joke to your daughter. Thanks for...
Listen,
Sharing
you gotta make sure you impart the important knowledge.
Can you please share the joke that she heard?
I mean, I think that he was trying
It
not to
was.
because it was bad.
It was, hey, do you know what month it is?
What month is it?
Well, and then you would say May.
Oh, you're right. May.
May I drag these nuts across your face?
Come on. So, Cloud and Aerith, you walk away, you get the gull wings, you go into the castle. What's the word they use? Not parlor, it's
Postern.
postern. So not only do you get the bailiwick, but you get the postern. These are all castle terms I just never have heard before.
Well, you should spend some more time in castles.
I guess
Yeah,
so.
that's on you, pal.
But we've talked about how the one time I did, they didn't have any railings on the terrifying stairs up the towers, and it scarred me forever.
They don't have railings on those old stone staircases. It's true.
I was wandering through the woods in the Czech Republic one time in the spring and ran across the ruins of an old castle. And my girlfriend and I played amongst them and climbed them and tee-heed. And I went to Stonehenge. And I wore my sweet Linkin Park shirt. My hair was down to like here.
Oh man, I want to see Matt's
I know those pictures
Stonehenge
exist
photo.
somewhere, but I don't know where they are.
Oh yeah, I should mention Cloud does ask you to tell him if you see Sephiroth. You get to Ansem's study, and Tifa...
Everything that happened with Cloud and Sephiroth in this game annoyed me. It's such a nothing burger. Like, it's such a big fat fart of nothing. Just them, like, talking in word salad at each other. Mm-hmm. So fucking stupid. Such a waste of time.
So you do get to Ansem's study. It's kind of wrecked. Tifa shows up. And she's like, "Oh, have you seen Cloud? You know, spiky hair." And then Sora like touches his own hair, like questioningly. He's like,
Yeah,
"Am I
Yeah,
Cloud?"
and she's like spikier.
That made me actually laugh out loud. I thought that was
I
a
like
great joke.
This her like searching the room was so funny because she was just like, she's looking for Cloud, another man-sized human being, and she's like feeling under the desk. She's like tapping on at one point she like kicks the wall. Is she?
Yeah,
I mean,
like
she's probably looking for like
punching
a
the wall.
secret door.
Yeah, she's trying to
Yeah.
find secret passages.
But it's funny. It's because like she's like, "Have you guys seen Cloud?" And then she's like feeling all the crevices in the room. Mm-hmm. Made me laugh.
You do see a little, a quick view of Stitch crawling around, but he comes back in a second. I have not seen Lilo and Stitch, so that's another Disney movie that
Lilo.
Yeah, we can tell you can't even pronounce the character's name.
Yeah, Lilo.
Okay.
I love a Lilo and Stitch.
Did I ever tell you about the guy who, I think it was like the art director on that, and he directed How to Train Your Dragons, How to Train Your Dragon, all those movies? Dean Dubois. Because,
John.
Hey, John, do you like How to Train Your
Hey,
Dragon?
John,
yeah.
like,
Yeah, I love How to Train Your Dragon.
imagine training your dragon to drag these nuts across your face.
Only if it's Drago from Ring Fit.
I'm going to be honest with you folks. I'm surprised it took an hour and 15 minutes to get D's nuts jokes worked into the show. I'm surprised it took 5 years, first of all.
So congratulations to Vanessa's democratically elected new husband, not including her brother husbands. No, not Sephiroth. What's his name? Seymour Guado.
Seymour Guado,
Seymour
yeah.
Guado.
The listeners
I
did
feel like
a March Madness style poll, and they nominated my love.
Nominee.
Nominated. And they voted them in a bracket. There were some surprising races, like Alistair versus Steve Valentine. That was a tense one.
And Thane versus Kaiden was very close. Like at one point, I think Thane got more votes in the end, but Greg called it before then.
Yeah, and Handsome Jack made it surprisingly far.
Mm-hmm.
I boycotted this poll once Trevor lost.
Trevor.
Anyway, back to the show. So you do see Stitch for a second, and then they do find a door. And the door leads to like, I thought it was going to be like a little room because it's like his computer room, but it's a big room.
It's like how did they not see that before? Because it opens out into the world.
I don't know. It looked like it was kind of like a Matrix like internal facility with all these like servers going back for miles in this crazy warehouse thing. I don't know. Apparently Ansem the Wise built this to house the MC. This is like the MCP, I guess, which is this whole giant server. So you get to the control room I know Jim did not want to spoil what was happening here for me because I do love a Tron, but I knew from a Penny Arcade comic back in 2005 that there was going to be some Tron showing up in this game because they did a whole musical comic about it. This was back when I liked Penny Arcade before they got really weird and shitty.
They're hashtag canceled. Do you like a Tron, Jim and Matt?
Yeah, Tron's fine. This wasn't ever anything I was like in love with, but I really like Tron Legacy. That's a really good movie.
It is. I love Tron Legacy.
I like Tron. I like the original Tron when I was a kid. Like, it's weird because Tron's one of those movies that you watched as you were a kid that was like, it was boring, but it looked cool.
Yeah, that's what, like, remember I was telling you that I stopped watching it when I was a kid because of like, it's a kid's movie with 20 minutes of boardroom sequences before you get to the computer.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. And Tron Legacy, again, as they said, pretty good. Great movie, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, it unfortunately kind of... Tron Legacy is good. The problem with Tron Legacy is that it has to be about Tron, which is unfortunate. Like, why is Jeff Bridges even in that movie?
Oh, I like that.
It's not... I mean, it's fine it's fine, but it's like, it's not what it could be, which is like, they could have been like, let's launch an interesting new Tron thing. And instead they were like, let's rehash the first movie.
That's like when the de-aging technology really kind of came out swinging was with old Jeff Bridges.
Which I've been learning de-aging for work lately. And yeah, going back and looking at that, Jeff Bridges, like Tony Stark and Jeff Bridges from that early de-aging technology era are pretty rough.
Yeah,
they are. It looks amazing now, though. It's pretty nuts how far it's come.
But Tron, I didn't really watch Tron until I was a grown up, but I loved it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Before
Legacy's good. There was that good cartoon too. I watched a good season of that.
There's a really good Tron PC game it's called Tron 2.0. That is, I hope gets a remaster someday because it's in that era of like kind of hard to play PC games like early 2000s, but it was fun. Like it was like almost like a little bit Deus Exy, a little bit Half-Life-y.
Basically, Tron is a franchise that just they have not figured out how to do it yet. And honestly, it seems crazy to me. It seems so obvious, which is like, do Tron again, but like make it relevant to the modern world.
Did you ever
and
play
maybe don't be so
Tron
serious
game that's like
on the goddamn tech, because that shit is the old arcade. Mm-hmm. Tell me the old arcade with the stupid little knob. Mm-hmm. I loved that thing.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Do you ever play the Tron game that was like on PC and 360? It was like a Devil May Cry style game.
I remember it. I definitely remember it.
It was good
because there would always be like 50 copies of it at GameStop on the used wall.
You can find it for $1, and I'd say it's worth that $1. It's pretty fun.
That neon aesthetic it looks good.
Yeah,
it just does.
It's like
it does look good.
80s Trapper Keeper, and you got weird David Warner with his gray face in there. They didn't have digitized Peter Jurassic, but they have actual real. I don't know if it's really David Warner doing Sark, but it is definitely Bruce Boxleitner doing Tron, which is amazing.
Bruce Boxleitner.
Yeah, Jim was telling me about. Tell me the joke from. I know we're just doing another show's joke, but this is Mystery Science Theater.
It's from the Future War episode of Mystery Science Theater, and all the fights in that movie take place around like these big walls of cardboard boxes because they thought it looked cool when they were like destructed. And Crow was talking about how much he likes box, and how much he likes boxes, like in general. And he's like, just call me Bruce Boxliker. Mike's like, no.
Did I talk about watching Merlin's Shop on the last episode?
No,
I don't think so.
I watched an insane Mystery Science Theater. I definitely talked about the other one that I watched, not Slither. What was it called?
Oh, Squirm?
Squirm. But then I also watched Merlin's Shop of Magic and Adventure, which is it seems like it's going to be a Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium kind of movie, but it is not. It's more like a Cat's Eye, I guess.
Yeah,
like
it's a really strange
horror horror anthology movie, but it's a kids movie at the same time, and it's got like Ernest Borgnine telling these horror stories to his frightened child or grandson.
Oh no,
it's amazing because it starts out like Princess Bride, but then is a horror movie kind of.
Yeah.
And I think it thinks it's a kid's movie.
I think it definitely does, yeah.
Tron. Watched it as an adult, loved it, like the games, I love Tron Legacy a lot. I was about to work on Tron 3, but then they canceled it.
No, sad.
Oh.
That was a few years ago. I think it might be coming back. Because they were setting up, remember in Tron Legacy, like they had noted Vanessa boyfriend Cillian Murphy there, like setting up Tron 3, and that never paid off.
Oh. Who would you want to cast in Tron 3 nowadays?
Well, you could still have, I like the lady, she was from that Time movie, Out of Time, In Time, the one who played the Tron lady who gets brought to the real world.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about.
She was good.
She was good.
The main guy sucked, and they need to...
Oh, the main guy was so bland.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was great.
So I don't know. I'd say like someone different. Like, yeah, just like either a no name or maybe someone who doesn't fit like bland white Disney teen protagonist.
Yeah. Yes. Agreed.
Yeah. I don't know, Vanessa, do you have any dream casting?
I never saw Tron Legacy.
Oh.
I don't even know if I ever saw Tron.
Oh,
My
wow.
only connection to Tron is that the People Mover in Disneyland, California, used to go through this series of like 3 rooms. The People Mover, for those who don't know, is just like a car on like a treadmill kind of track. So it never stops. It just goes around and around. It's this line of cars. And you go through these rooms and they like project lasers on the wall. And it's like, you have entered Tron. And then at the end, this voice says, you have escaped Tron, but next time you may not fare so well.
But the thing is, Tron is the good guy. It's like saying you have escaped Batman.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happened.
Although the weird thing is, Tron's never a big part of Tron. Like
that always tripped me out because like Tron is just like your pal.
Yeah, and Tron isn't a big part, but Tron is a bigger part of this than he is of either Tron Legacy or Tron original.
Yeah, that is very true.
Because Tron's like the main character.
This Tron fellow. He seems sexless.
But
he's a computer program.
He's got a computer ass. You do see a computer ass for sure.
That's
he's got a
true.
butt.
Does he have a computer bulge?
No, it's like a computer Ken doll down there.
That's
Can we
what I'm
admit that
saying.
his Tron hat is really stupid looking, though? Like, it's real dumb.
Who? Oh,
Tron.
Well, I love Sora, Donald, and Goofy's Tron hats.
Sure, they look great. They look modern Tron.
Yeah.
You know? They look sleeker. They look cyberpunk, kind of. They look cool. They look mecha. Tron, that's the problem. Tron, the original Tron, like it's an 80s movie. He just has like a dome hat. It looks so bad.
It does look pretty silly. Oh, Matt, would you, I was talking about this in chat, would you show your youngest child, who I believe is 9? Is he 8 or 9?
He's 9.
Would you show him Black Hole, or is that too scary?
I don't know what that is.
Another Disney, like Tron was 1980 and Black Hole was 1979, and it was kind of Star Wars inspired robot movie, but it has a couple of like scary parts.
Oh, I've never seen it.
Oh, you should watch it sometime. I think
With my 9-year-old?
yeah, I think that's a question. Maybe
I don't trust you on
let's
this.
wait
So
to see our listeners who have children, because I watched Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 when I was 7, 9. But so it's not.
how
as
did you
scary
fuck
as-
up recently? What is it that you told your kids to? You told your
I don't have kids.
nieces and nephews they could watch. It was like
Gremlins.
RoboCop or Gremlins.
It was
That's
Gremlins.
right.
Yes, and you ruined Christmas forever.
I did. Oh, he was.
They
old
were
enough.
like,
It's fine.
Dunkel says there's no Santa.
Oh. Anyway, yeah, listeners, should Matt let his 9-year-old watch Black Hole? There is a scary part to that movie where a main
Keep in
character
mind,
gets
listeners, that I don't have a stake in this because I'm probably not going to watch it because I don't care.
a main character gets destroyed in a very scary way.
I don't know if you guys know this, but Under Siege is on Netflix, so that's been my go-to for the last 3 or 4 nights. It's just kind of watching that piece by piece.
I feel like Black Hole is as scary as, I think the robot death in Black Hole is as scary as the shoe getting the dip in Roger Rabbit, but you knew the robot before you didn't know the shoe in Roger Rabbit.
That's too scary. That's too scary for me.
I never liked that shoe part either, actually.
Yeah.
It was pretty scary. Because that shoe dies.
You know,
Traumatizing
my
movie.
kids are kind of big babies about that stuff. Like, we don't watch, like, R-rated movies. Like, my oldest is, my 12-year-old, like, by her age, I definitely was watching everything was R-rated. But then again, they watch a lot of YouTube, so God knows what they're watching that I don't know
Yeah,
about.
I mean,
you know?
it's YouTube. You just assume they've seen everything, but I guess they haven't.
But, like, they act like babies about certain stuff. Like, they won't watch The Dark Crystal.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's too spooky.
I really had to fight with them to finally watch Labyrinth, but when they did watch it, they liked it.
Oh, that's good.
That's a great movie.
Haley would not watch Godzilla vs. Kong because that's
too scary.
All right. So, you go, basically, you get to the MCP, and then, Squall leaves you alone to go try to find files on the computer. He doesn't realize, I don't think Sora can read?
What?
What?
I don't know. He doesn't seem to know how to use a keyboard, at least. Like, he's just hammering on it. And,
That's true.
And then Donald Duck walks on the keyboard, and then the computer gets so angry at them that it does digitize them into Tron World. And there you arrive in Space Paranoids. You meet Sark, who sends them into a cyber prison, the pit cell, just like
I mean,
in
I don't
Tron
think that
1.
we need to read, like, real world problems into Disney slapstick jokes.
What, that?
Yeah, this is a crazy
Sora
computer. Like,
can't read.
we don't know that Sora has computers in
Don't
his
you relax?
world.
That's just my interpretation of Sora being so computer illiterate.
He
What do you
reads
think,
the
Jim?
Jiminy Journal.
That's why the Jiminy Journal is, that's why Jiminy's there to journal everything, because they're like, Sora can't do it.
Jim, can Sora read?
I don't. You know what? I don't think Sora can read. I don't think Jiminy's journal is. That's not for Sora. That's for King Mickey. So.
We'd ask you to keep a journal, but, you know.
There must have been instances of Sora reading
He
in
has
this
been
game.
fighting evil monsters with a magic sword since he was, like, 6.
Well, yeah, that's why in the first game when he draws like him and Kyrie's little portraits in the cave, he was gonna just write Sora plus Kyrie, but he didn't know how to spell his name or hers, so he just had to draw their little faces on there.
You know,
I want to apologize to any listeners that we have that may not be able to read or have a loved one that can't read, or just anybody in general that hears this. We apologize. That's not a positive thing, and we certainly think that everybody should learn how to read. And if you need to reach out to us, just send us an email.
yeah, that's true. I feel bad now. I'll move on. So he, does trigger he gets into Tron. He does get he meets up with Tron there. And then there's a terminal there where Donald, does, I guess, break the terminal, and it gets so mad at them that it sentences them to play the Cyberbikes game. So you do play Cyberbikes?
Well, cyber bikes.
Or whatever it's
Yeah.
called. The
Light cycle.
The light
That's
cycles.
it.
The light cycles are great.
Yeah.
And they're smart, because this is the best thing that was in the
Cyberbike.
first Tron, and it's still cool to do it in this. The light cycles are fun. I would like it to be more in-depth, but I'll take this. This is fine. Like, it's hard. And this is not a light cycle game, so this is fine. It's a good mini game.
Yeah,
and
it's fine.
Also, light cycles are cool.
They
Tron
are.
is cool.
Vanessa does not agree with us that light cycles or cyberbikes are cool.
I don't agree with you.
Why
I
aren't
think
they
it was
cool?
Dumb. It's just dumb. It's just putting you on rails, and then it's
Vanessa was
like
bad at it and
swipe
failed
to
it
the
several
left,
times and
swipe
is
to the
mad.
right. I did not. I did not. I did a good job.
It's
I
fine.
just didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, so you do that. You get into the canyon. You do have to restore the energy core system in this boss fight. I didn't understand where there's boxes, and I guess you have to like find the one real box and blow it up to get like computer bits.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got to get these
Easy
nodes.
to find because it's a different color than the other boxes.
No, it's not those ones. It's like a different. I thought it was the red one. That's what I kept getting wrong. Like you have to find nodes first to activate the red one, then you can hit the red one. It was a
What?
weird.
I don't know what you're talking
There's
about.
two parts to it because like you have to get these like cyber balls.
It's like we played a different game.
You have to get these cyber balls, and then the ball thing fills up, and then you can hit the red box, and then the red box does damage to the boss, and this is how you get like the computer system server
John.
working.
All right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I do remember this.
John. Do you like cyber balls?
I do like cyber balls. Why?
Go ahead, Vanessa.
Why do you ask?
Imagine dragging these cyber balls across your face.
It's not always dragging. That's why it's Imagine Dragons, Vanessa. You've failed at the joke. It's got to be like cyber these balls across your face, but that doesn't make sense.
All right, so you get the you do get power back to this terminal that can send you back to Hollow Bastion. But before you leave, Tron's like, "Hey, I need you guys to go look in the real world to find Ansem." He does say that Ansem was his user, and that you have to find the password for the DTD to access the data files. And you get back
All right,
to
here's my suggestion here. Interruption time. What if this was Reboot instead of Tron? Would it be better?
no
Worse.
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 Worse, hands down.
You're all a bunch of fucking animals.
I love
Reboot
Tron.
is 10 out of 10.
Reboot
a
season
Stone Cold
3
classic.
is great, but I think 1
You're
and 2
right
are
about
kind of
that,
trashy.
actually. That's actually
Dopey,
very.
yeah.
That's very true.
I thought you were
It does
talking
just
about
have
the
the one
reboot
really good
of
season.
the Tron movies. You're talking about that little kids cartoon that was on like
Yeah.
PBS?
Yeah,
Yeah, wasn't it a Canadian show? I swear it was.
yeah. I worked for the company that made it for a while.
You're such a dork.
It's true.
Never watched that show.
Well,
Maybe you should.
I'm too young.
Yeah, you're not missing anything. You're really
it's
not.
fine.
It's like a dopier version of Tron.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like very early computer animation, so it's mostly like, whoa, look at this. Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was fun. Like it's ugly, but it's like fun ugly.
Yeah,
Like
it's
me.
not terrible. And I think,
It's like how I talked about. I rewatched the first Mortal Kombat, the original, recently,
awesome.
and I was like, "It's ugly, but it's like '90s ugly," and I'm
Like
okay with it.
me.
It's for the same thing.
oh, no.
That's not Vanessa. Please don't say that about yourself. You are a lovely woman, and we all appreciate you as a
Your
person.
90s lovely.
Aww.
Wow,
You're
Like the
fine,
Spice
Deez.
Girls.
The, what were we talking, reboot? Oh, yeah. The guy who did the narrator of The Bard's Tale was the voice of Megabyte in Reboot, so. He was the one part of Bard's Tale we liked, because he made fun of the main character. Remember?
Oh,
pretty
that
great.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bard's Tale.
Reboot was pretty great. Bard's Tale was pretty great.
So,
Was it?
We should
Even Matt doesn't
replay
believe
that for the show. I know that we talk about replaying Final Fantasy IX all the time, but my suggestion is we replay Bard's Tale.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you a tale that's terribly true.
no.
No, we're not doing that.
So,
Huckleberry,
is this
Huckleberry.
is this when Mickey comes back when you're trying to find the password? Or is
Yes.
it? Okay, so you're trying to find the password and some study. Tifa is there, and then Mickey Mouse shows up, and he's like helping
King
you.
Mickey, sir. Please
Sorry, King
refer to
Mickey.
him by his proper title.
King
He's
Mickey
like,
or
shows
it
up.
will be off with your head.
Hiya, pal. I have a question for Jim.
Yeah.
What you think
How
about
did...
what you think about this Tifa?
Yeah, I'm not, this is like the Advent Children aesthetic. And I'm not a fan of it in general.
Yeah,
This
everyone
is-
in black is kind of boring.
Yes, it's super boring, and they're all wearing like very like long, flowy like sweaters. It's it's really strange. So not a fan. Definitely prefer classic Tifa.
She does kick ass though, which is fun in a second.
Yes, yeah, she does.
But Mickey Mouse comes in and then explains, "Hey, so I'm looking for Ansem here because Ansem might be able to find it, and I'm also trying to find Ansem in the real world because, like, he's a good guy. He's Ansem the Wise." And everyone's like, "What?"
And you're all like, whoa.
What? The best is that Mickey's like, oh, yeah, I guess I haven't told you everything, huh?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, dude, it's been 10 years.
Yeah, so there's
This
this
boy's
portrait.
gone through puberty and the time it's taken you to just explain the basics.
So
Well, there's a portrait of Ansem up in this study, and Mickey's like, that's not Ansem. I know. And me and Ansem are super tight. We know each other. This is not Ansem.
They refer to him as
But
Ansem the Wise.
Yeah.
the portrait of Ansem in the study looks so much like a combination of the two main guys from Vagrant Story, like Sydney and Ashley. He looks like a real Vagrant Story
Oh,
guy.
yeah, he does. Yeah.
Which I don't remember him really looking like in Kingdom Hearts 1. And they're like, oh, well, we killed.
Yeah, he does.
So Mickey's like, I'm looking for Ansem. And Sora's like, well, we kind of killed him, remember?
The dude that turned into a boat
Yeah.
at the end of Kingdom
Yeah.
Hearts is this guy.
Yeah,
He
the
does.
dude with the
He's
cum
got
guardian.
crazy Cum Guardian. He's got crazy, spiky, stupid
Yeah.
Ashley Riot
But now
hair.
you know that wasn't actually Ansem.
Yeah, he's like,
But you don't know who it is yet, though, do you?
well, sort of
No.
like right here.
You find out.
Right
Well, you
here.
find out.
Yeah.
You know, you find out for sure later on before the big Heartless battle.
But so
Yeah.
so then Goofy sort of summarizes the plot of Kingdom Hearts 2. He says, some feller named Ansem, who wasn't really Ansem, became a Heartless. And he like assumed Ansem's identity and took over all his research. But it's
And
not
then he
Ansem
goes.
the Wise.
And then he goes. The leader of the organization must be Ansem or not Ansem's nobody.
Yeah.
Bump, bump, bump.
Which I think that if that wasn't outright stated already in the game, I think it's definitely been implied.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's definitely been implied at this point. So that's the plot of Kingdom Hearts 2. You're welcome. And then Tifa pulls down a portrait of Ansem, and behind it, it says Tron Door to Darkness, and talks about the hollow Bastion stuff. And they figure out that the key is the 7 princesses of
That's the password.
yeah.
The names of the 7 princesses.
Well, because they're the keys to Kingdom Hearts, right? And so they're also the password to the system. So you go back and then you tell it to Tron, and Tron like says the password out loud as he's typing. And the MCP's like, "Thank you for telling me your password."
How do they know which order to enter the names?
It did seem like there's like different text boxes, and each one had a different number of characters. I don't know.
I don't know.
That's a good question, Vanessa. Maybe they're numbered and it's always in that particular order they always said it in. But I do love the MCP being like, thanks for telling me. So you do get to, let's see, you depart. Okay. The gang goes to the data space and inserts the password and restoring Tron's functions. MCP gains access to the entire system and attempts to activate Hollow Bastion's emergency self-destruct. Tron hacks into the system and changes the password to the names of Sora, Donald, and Goofy, which he says aloud again, which is the last way that the MCP learned.
I do love Tron's limit. When you do that like hack limit and you hear him go running executable and they do lots of cool computer stuff.
Yeah.
That's really fun.
No, that stuff's really fun. I really like that. The fighting in Tron World was really cool. After defeating, so then, the MCP does mean to upload a hostile program to the town in the real world, and you have to defeat this hostile program. And, then Tron uses the terminal in the tower to return Sora, Donald, and Goofy to the outside world. And back in Ansem's lab, you learn that the data files in the DTD have become corrupt. And then you have like other matters to attend to because Hollow Bastion is under attack. And you do try to like unencrypt this. Is this before or after the fight that you unencrypt things?
It's got to be before, right? I don't think you come back here until later.
Okay, so you do start unencrypting data and smashing things, and it does
Oh yeah.
gives
That
you
is
a couple of
that is here.
a couple of details. I'm trying to remember what it gives you details about. But it was something surprising about Ansem or something. Remember, it gives you some files. I can't remember what they were. Do either of you remember, Vanessa, Matt?
No.
But you also,
I don't either.
you get a great screen of Tron saying thank you to Sora, Donald, and Goofy with like Dragon Quest sprite versions of Sora, Donald. Very specifically, not Final Fantasy style sprites. They are Dragon Quest style sprites. So I don't know what's up with that. Although at that point, I think Square was Square Enix, right? So it owned Dragon Quest.
I think they look like Final Fantasy style sprites. I don't know what you're talking
To
about.
me, they look like Dragon Quest style sprites, but I might be wrong.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's very
They just look like
particular.
sprite characters.
It didn't look like that one artist lady who did all the 16-bit sprites.
You don't look like that one artist lady who did all the 16-bit sprites.
No, but I follow her on Twitter now. She's cool.
Oh,
Yeah. She's a Japanese lady.
lady, come on our show.
She doesn't follow me on Twitter. She
Uh-uh.
doesn't listen to the show. So yeah.
Hey, John.
Yeah?
Hey, John. Do you like Dragon Quest?
I do like Dragon Quest. Why?
All you guys have is dragon. This is awful. You were so creative the other day, and all of this has been embarrassing.
I know.
Go ahead and finish your
All right,
fucking joke,
no,
Jim.
I didn't actually have a
No.
punchline there, a good one.
No,
so
go
we
for
can
it.
just
Finish
move
it
on.
up. Imagine dragging D's
be
nuts
better
across your face.
I was going to try to work the word quest in there somewhere, but I wasn't sure where.
Imagine dragon
Imagine.
questing.
All right.
These
Imagine-
nuts.
These nuts.
Imagine questing for
Imagine-
a dragon of these nuts.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay. So I guess it was when you leave Space Paranoids, you finally run into Mickey, who explains a bunch of stuff about Ansem. And you do find out about Xemnas
Hey, John.
and Xehanort.
John.
You hear about those names?
Do you like space paranoids?
Yeah, I do.
Imagine being space paranoid about D's nuts. See, now I'm using imagine,
No,
so
how
even I'm
about-
fucking it up. It's really bad.
Are you paranoid about the amount of space D's nuts take?
Perfect. Thank you.
So, Ansem was, so you do learn that, well, I don't think here you learn that Xehanort is Xemnas. That gets told to you in the next one of the next
Well,
cutscenes.
he says that that Ansem had a protege or whatever that was named Xehanort. But
Right.
they don't say like, oh, Xehanort became Ansem. They don't say that yet until later.
Okay.
But that's I mean, we just spoiled it, so let's
Yeah,
just
it's
talk
fine.
about it. Like,
It's
that's
fine.
the twist here.
Yeah.
Like, Ansem the Wise had an apprentice named Xehanort, and then, I don't know, he, like, exiled Ansem or some bullshit.
Yeah.
And took over and pretended to be Ansem.
Yes. And
Well,
took
And then
over
he
his
fucked
village.
up and became a Heartless and a nobody.
Mm-hmm.
So his Heartless is the dude we killed at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1, and his nobody is the dude that is running Organization 13 in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Isn't there
Correct.
a third thing too, though? There's a heartless, there's a nobody, and there's a something else.
Well, there's the original.
So
there's a
Xehanort-
somebody.
so
when you
Xehanort
when you
isn't-
add a Heartless and a nobody back together, you get a somebody.
Okay.
Oh. Is Xemnas the somebody then?
No,
No,
Xemnas
Xemnas
is the nobody of Xehanort after he took on the name
All
of
of
Ansem.
all of the Organization 13 members, their Organization 13 name, their Organization 13 name seems to be their original name with an X in it.
It's the
Except
original name all mixed up
Xehanort-
with an X. Yeah.
Except Xehanort becomes Xemnas.
Right, because he
Well,
pretended to be
because-
Ansem.
Because he was pretending to be Ansem.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Ansem X, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, I did not put that together.
Matthew his mind just got blown.
My name,
Matthew's mind melters.
you got that, Matt? My name is Johnny. Johnnny. You got that? That's my.
Got it memorized.
Got it memorized.
Oh man, it makes my skin crawl when he says
Yeah,
that.
it's as bad as it could
It's
be.
embarrassing.
The funny thing is that other than that, I really like Axel.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's my favorite of that whole.
Well, he's the
side
only
plot.
one with. Well, him and Christopher Lee are the only ones with like personalities.
Yeah.
Christopher Lee does not have personality. He
How
is just
dare
a
you.
droning
He is a
scientist
treasure.
archetype.
He is a treasure.
So you hear a big explosion outside and you find a buttload of Heartless. Cut to Maleficent, who is watching the Heartless fight the Nobodies. And Pete is there. He's like, you know what? I don't think we're going to win this one. So I'm going to go back to the past and just hang out on my steamboat.
Yeah, he does. He bails.
He just bails.
It's great.
Yep. Maleficent does call him a pathetic coward. The Gullwings show up and they're like, oh, so is Maleficent bad? And Sora says, she ran away. And they're like, oh, I guess we picked the wrong side. And he's like, well, you should come join Leon and help reconstruct Hollow Bastion. And they're like, oh, does Leon have treasures? And Donald says,
Oh, man.
That was too wet.
okay, you try it, Vanessa.
Donald says, "A quack. Yes, quack. Leon, quack, quack, has treasures, quack."
Okay. They're like, well, we are treasure fanatics, so they leave. And then everyone turns to Donald and we're like, well, wait, does Leon have treasures? And Donald's like, he just gives this like naughty little boy look. He's like,
Yeah.
he's a naughty little duck. You can go, so there's a hole here, Jim, and I didn't go down the hole because they're like, oh, we should ignore that
yeah.
and go there later.
Yeah.
So I took Sora's advice. I didn't go down the hole. Should I? Okay. Is that like bonus content? Is that like an extra
This
dungeon?
is like the optional dungeon in the game. So, you know, as you level up your drive forms, you get those abilities that are permanent. Like it makes you jump higher. You can glide. This optional dungeon, it's called the Cavern of Remembrance. It is, you can only get through it if you have all of those kind of passive abilities fully leveled. There's a spot where you have to like, you know, glide consistently around the circular thing. You need to jump high to get over certain spots. But if you do that, there's a lot of good loot in there, and you get access to all of the digital versions of the Organization 13 bosses, which are like kind of the super boss versions of those encounters.
Because those encounters
are pretty neat.
When I was in Twilight Town looking for Kyrie, there was another one of those ambient scar faces, and and it was this tough guy, and he just destroyed me. I was like, this is probably later.
This tough guy?
Yeah, he had like a big sword that you could like.
Oh, I thought that was one of the
boys.
easier ones.
Oh, well, I did really poorly in that. I just assumed that I'll try that later. Because I'm not that high level.
But yeah, the Cavern of Remembrance is fun. And it can be a great place to grind, too.
As soon as you have the ability to do it, if you have the wisdom form, you really should be leveling it up to get that dash. Yeah. Like, that changes the game.
Oh, okay.
You need that dash.
Just wait till you get glide. You can.
Wisdom form is killing Heartless in wisdom form, I think.
Wisdom form is killing Heartless.
Oh,
yeah.
so it has to be Heartless. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like each drive form has its own kind of leveling gimmick.
Okay.
Like Valor is number of hits that you land. Wisdom is how many Heartless you defeat. Limits how many limits that you do.
No, Valor is experience gained. So just killing things in Valor form levels Valor form.
What about Master
Wisdom,
form?
it's only Heartless.
Yeah, how do you level up Master form?
Master is drive orbs.
Yeah, it's
so anything
drive orbs.
you kill that drops a drive orb, you collect the drive orb, that counts as experience for that form.
That one can go really quickly, too, because Sora has an ability you can equip that increases the rate that drive orbs are dropped.
Ooh.
And
one of your swords does as well.
Yeah, one of your the one from Orin makes a drive
Now
orb
listen,
drop a
we're
lot.
going to get into some locker-worthy talk here, because now's a good time to talk about it. Straight up, if you go to the Timeless River, if you go to Mickey's house and hit your drive form, you can do this anywhere, actually. But Timeless River, it's all right in one spot. You can go into Mickey's house and hit your drive form and clear the room, and then you can run out of the room
Which
into
drive form?
Any of them that you're using. Wisdom, you're attacking Heartless, so you'll get it. Master, you're getting drive orbs, so you'll get it. Limit, you do it by using the limit abilities. So anything you kill with a limited ability, it works. So in Timeless River, you can run from Mickey's house back through the door to Disney Castle, which is in that little field. And it'll knock you out of drive form and reset your drive gauge to 5. So then you can walk back through the door, go back into Mickey's house, hit the drive form again, clear the room, walk back out the door, get 5 drive gauges, walk back in. And
As long
you can
as
level
you do
up
that
most of your drive
before-
forms just like that. And once you get wisdom to level 3, you get the dash. And at level 5, you get a faster dash. And limit
Dash.
and master. What are the other things? There's a double jump. There's final form has the glide.
Well, there's high jump and double jump and dash and
Valor's
glide.
high jump. I think master maybe is double jump or limit is double jump. Okay. Wisdom is the dash. What's the other thing?
Glide.
Oh, dodge roll. One of them's a dodge roll.
dodge roll. That's right.
Normally I wouldn't be the one to suggest this, but do you want to maybe put them both in a locker?
Well, and I agree with you for sure. The only reason I'm bringing this up is because you're getting close to the point in the game where, John, in particular, these fights that you're getting into with these absent silhouettes or whatever they are, if you don't have those are just movement abilities. Mm-hmm. Super high jump, double jump, dash, dodge roll. That'll make all of those fights that you're talking about easier. You really shouldn't even be bothering with them right now because you don't have all of the movement stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'll say,
really,
like,
I think it's bad design that it's tied to this weird leveling up of these forms that you don't even really know you can do and that you don't know how to do if you don't dig into the menu or Google it, basically. It's not good. This is bad design, to be perfectly frank. These should be the powers that you unlock and not, Thunder Plus or whatever.
But I think they are. I think it's a good system that is
it's a bad design choice.
That is shittily integrated.
But here's what
it's
I don't
it's just poorly
get
integrated.
about the drive orbs. Drive these orbs across your face.
Good one, Vanessa. Excellent job. Mm-hmm. So one of us finally got it. I'm proud.
That's great. So then as you're making your way into the town, Sephiroth shows up and he says,
oh man,
he wants to snuff out Cloud's light. And is this where is Cloud there when Sephiroth shows up? And
No, and he's dumb. And Sephiroth is like a drama queen as always. He's just like, yes, boss. Sephiroth, and he shows up.
He says Cloud's mistaken, is what he says. He's like, Cloud's wrong that I'm like his darkness, but whatever.
Yeah,
he wants to
like,
see me
Cloud
again, so I'll
Cloud's
confront him.
Own darkness, but
Yeah.
I guess if he wants to meet up with me again, YOLO.
This is, and I said it earlier, but I'll say it again. This really annoys me. Like, it's just like nothing really happens, and they're not explaining to you or giving you any sort of context, and it's intentional because they don't want to. And again, why is this a mix of Final Fantasy and Disney?
Well, this is the
doesn't
worst
make
kind
sense.
of remember this other thing.
It's a random game mixed with a Disney game, and then for some reason Final Fantasy characters show up, and but in the worst way, where they just show up.
It's like, hey,
And
kids,
only
you
say
like
things
Sephiroth,
that are
right?
vague enough.
Well, that's
only
exactly
say
what it is.
things that are vague enough to not say anything at all.
Well, yeah, because
only
they don't
speak
want
in,
to
weird double speak.
except for the part where Sephiroth does imply that he is either a Heartless or a nobody.
Well, that's why I think the Auron integration into the Hades world works so well, because it played into like a characteristic of the world and a characteristic of that character, and it made sense. But no other world or character has done that.
So you then run into Leon and the gang, so Yuffie and the rest, and you gotta fight a bunch of nobodies. Leon says head to the Bailey because that's where the king is, and then it's cameo time. You see an army of Heartless marching on to Hollow Bastion, and there's a lot of them. You see Yuffie and Aerith trying to fight, but they're not getting a lot done. Wow, Jim. Wow. These are
They're
Jim's
not.
notes.
You show
Jim's
it
notes.
shows Yuffie throw her shuriken once, and then she goes and sits down on the ground. And then Aerith heals her, and then they chat for a second, and then it's done.
She does heal. Well, she gets injured, and then Aerith comes and heals her with her first limit break, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
God. Send your hate mail to Jim at squarerootspodcast@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you there.
I don't know
see
why.
them.
Make
You don't
Jim
see them
read his
actually
own
kill a
words.
Heartless.
Make Jim own this, is all I'm saying.
It's my observation. I did the notes.
Then read it.
All right, read it. Let's get us through all this, and we'll get to Land of Dragons because we're at 2 hours. So let's work through this.
Okay, yeah. So there's a lot going on here. So let's see. Like I said, Yuffie and Aerith were fighting. It cuts to Stitch, who's like blasting Heartless with his laser pistols, which is neat. The Gullwings show up and like kick a Heartless off a cliff, and then high five. It shows Cloud and Leon back to back with their swords out, and that's a real fan service. In my notes, I write it as you see Cloud and Leon fighting back to back, spurring erections across the Final Fantasy fandom.
And they sort of have a banter too. It's like, hey, let's do this.
You think you can handle this?
Mm-hmm. Check out this gunblade.
Whatever. It's such a bunch of nothing. Like they razz each other, and then they go back to
this is like
doing what they were doing.
That fight from that one Marvel movie in the airport that nothing happened in.
Oh yeah, legit. I agree with you there, John.
Wow.
That Captain America Civil War big showdown is just the lamest thing. It's just like, hey, we want to leave the country. I don't think so, pal.
Wow. What a hot take.
If they were fighting over something, it would have been a lot better. Like, it's just like screenwriting 101, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I'm saying.
And
I'm not talking about emotional fighting. I'm talking about, like, physical. If they had a MacGuffin there.
Poor War Machine. You're just discounting the battle.
I'll tell you what, though. Man, every time we record, it happens every single time.
Do you break a glass?
I'll tell you what, though. When Spider-Man shows up, though, in Civil War, that's like top tier.
Yeah, he comes
my
in
favorite
and he's
stuff
like,
that happens
bang-a-rang.
in movies.
I wish there were stakes or something in that fight.
No, I agree.
Pointless.
I'm 100%. I agree with you that it's like a pointless fight.
There are steaks, beef steaks.
Ooh,
But
and a
Spider-Man
couple of
does
hams.
show up and like they crack jokes, and he takes Captain America's shield, and like he looks all bad. It's so good.
Captain America's pants.
Oh man,
I wish.
I love that. That first 3 phases of Marvel movies are maybe the best thing that's ever happened.
I saw a meme saying that not enough people talk about Captain America's pre-Marvel softcore Cinemax work, and Vanessa's like, "Oh, I'm aware." I'm aware.
He sent me a bunch of these pictures like I'd never seen them before. And I'm like, you think I don't know what Tumblr is? What's wrong with you?
Anyway, so
That actually is hilarious. I was not aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is where
I don't say
Sephiroth
that
shows
like
up.
so that people think I am, because I'm afraid people would think that I am. I'm just saying that I was not aware of it, and it's pretty funny to realize that it's out there, and I was not aware of it.
all right, back to the game.
Now Sephiroth shows up, and like shows up in front of Cloud, and this is where this is all just, it doesn't have anything to do with the game, like this game or Final Fantasy VII, really. So it's just a bunch of nothing about like Cloud outrunning his past. But what's he running away from?
Well, and why does he say that Sephiroth is Cloud unless they're talking about Heartless and stuff? That's why I think
I assumed that was a reference to like them both
having
being
Genova
comprised of Genova cells. Yes,
maybe. Tifa shows up, punches some Heartless, and chases after those two. Then what happens?
Yep. So it cuts back to Sora. The king shows up, and he's like, don't go help all those people that are fighting. You need to go find Riku and Kairi. And Sora's like, I don't want to do that. I promised Leon. And so Mickey's like, no, Donald and Goofy, you gotta make them leave. And they're like, okay, we will. Wink, wink. And then everybody just runs past the king to jump down into like all the battle stuff.
Mm-hmm. And here you get the world's longest cutscene.
The world's longest, most boring cutscene. This thing is a nap inducer.
Everything about this is amazing.
Hard to stay away.
This is my favorite part of the game.
Shows up in the MCP room. He takes out an evil-looking CD, loads it.
This made me laugh. It's a CD that's totally white. It's got like black circuit board stuff on it, like all the organization people have. It's so silly.
He reinstalls a new OS onto the MCP and takes the CD out. He walks to the next room, walks down some hidden steps, and then slowly walks down a spiral ramp. And literally, you see him walk a third of the way down. It's like, oh, are they going to make me watch the whole thing? It fades on, like, oh, phew. But then it fades back in, and he's still walking down it, except this time you have some voiceover of Christopher Lee and Xehanort playing over the
Xehanort.
walking. And they're sort of basically he's saying that this research he's doing is real good, and but then Christopher Lee's like, no, it's bad. It's actually
This research is real good.
yeah, I love this research we're doing. It's real good. And Lee's like, no, it is not real good, Xehanort. It is bad, and we should stop doing it.
It is I,
Because
Dracula.
you also get a scene of Mickey talking to Anson the Wise, and Anson the Wise is eating ice cream, and then
Sea salt ice cream.
and is saying like, hey, maybe we should stop. I'm worried that the reason we got this Heartless in the first place is because of the research we're doing.
Has it put together that, I mean, you obviously know because of Christopher Lee's voice, but that like real Ansem is
No, it doesn't
Diz
really
from
reveal
the
that
beginning,
until
with
the end of the
faces
game.
with the face all painted.
I just thought that was maybe Diz's nobody.
no, that
Diz
is
Ansem.
Diz.
Wait, Ansem is Diz. So
Ansem is like actual Ansem
Diz
the
is
Wise.
Ansem the Wise. No, Jim
Ansem the
hadn't
Wise
spoiled that
is
yet, and
Diz.
apparently
Jim
it
just
wasn't
dropping
enough for
some
these people
mailer
to put it
spoilers.
together.
well, I mean, I
Mailer
figured it out
spoilers.
because they have the same voice actor, right? Like,
Yeah,
that
and
wasn't that hard.
How do you mistake Christopher Lee's?
Yeah.
Yeah, and also
Voice.
when the other guy introduced himself as Ansem, Diz was like, lol.
Oh yeah, he laughed. Yeah,
That's true.
He's like, well, it's an honor to meet you.
Ansem. So then you get the dialogue. They're all talking. You find he walks into a white room with an organization chair. And he sees some armor on the floor, sits next to it, and says, "It's been far too long, friend."
Okay, this, I think, because, like, you see the armor. This is the armor of one of the Birth by Sleep characters. So I think this is
Snore.
Ventus,
Okay.
who is connected to Sora in a pretty big way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You get another organization scene with Zexion asking where Xemnas is, and he says that Xemnas, or Xehanort, is in the Chamber of Repose, and they don't like that place because it's like evil or like sacred.
Yeah, I don't know, it just makes him feel bad. I don't know.
It's like don't they call it a graveyard at one point?
Oh, I think so, yeah.
Cut back to the gang. They run into D-Mix, and Sora does call him a wimp and challenge him to a fight, and D-Mix is like, I don't want to fight. I just want to play my guitar and have fun. So you do beat him very easily, and he disappears. Does that mean he's dead? Did you just kill...
I think you need to read that in a Bill and Ted voice.
Which one?
D-Mix.
D-Mix. Whoa, D-Mix.
Great job.
That's way chiller than Bill and
Thank you.
Ted.
I don't know why that had to happen, but I enjoyed
That
it.
was Brody from Point Break.
Matt, why don't you give it a try?
Yeah. Let's see you read D-Mix.
Totally. I'm D-Mix and I don't want to fight. I just want to chill out and play my guitar. I didn't do it good either. Sorry. That's why I told John to do it. I'm not good at that.
That was a good voice. I really liked it. I don't want to. It sounded like Brule's Rules. I don't want to fight. I just want to play the guitar. Stupid.
Don't play my guitar, dingus.
God. I don't like this at all.
I do love Bruce Willis.
Are we gonna summon some water guys to fight you? Stupid. No.
It's crazy that he went on to be in some of my favorite movies, and even to be like a legitimately good actor.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
he was already in an Oscar-winning movie before that.
He was, yeah.
Was he?
Yeah, he was in Chicago.
What was it? Oh, I've never seen it.
Also, was he in Magnolia?
Yeah, he was
too?
really
Magnolia
good in
too.
Magnolia.
He was great in Magnolia.
Yeah. Anyway. So, you beat him and he disappeared. So, Jim, did we kill D-Mix?
Yeah, he's dead, I think. I think he's dead.
Wow.
Wow.
Murderers.
Yeah.
He was, he was a nobody, right? So they don't consider
That's
it
not
murder.
that's a person still.
No, he's a nobody. That's
No,
quite
yeah.
literally what he is. He's nobody
But
at all.
We
It's like he wasn't even there. We called the cops, and the cops were just like, "It's fine."
Yeah.
but you can put a nobody back together again.
He wasn't even supposed to be like in the area.
It's sort of like the first season of Supernatural establishes that they can excise demons from innocent possessed people, and they do that, and then as the seasons go on, they just start killing them. They're just like, yeah, whatever.
It's a lot easier, okay, Sam? What?
I've never heard of that.
It was season 5 where they started
Super-
talking like Batman, right?
Summer.
Because
Did they not talk like that the whole time?
in the first
I felt like it
couple
was the whole
seasons,
time.
they were like, "Hey, Sam, want to go on adventures? Okay, Dean." And then they just their voices got dumber and gruffer as the show went on.
To me, that's Supernatural in a nutshell. Is like two guys being like, "I'm gonna outgruff you. I'm 5'6" and I'm talking like I'm Clint Eastwood."
Well, the other
I
guy
think
is
Clint
like
Eastwood is
6'5".
also 5'6".
The other guy's really
Is he?
Yeah, the Sam is tall. He's very tall.
Well, aren't they both tall? But the other one just looks short by comparison.
I think the other one's like your height or something. I don't
My
think he's very tall.
I hate how
7
deep
foot
we've
4.
gotten into
No,
this.
9'6" with hat and heels.
So, Demix,
Okay,
and we kill him.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
kill
he's
him.
dead.
He's
He's
dead.
dead.
Mickey finds you and
You have to
seems,
use the reaction command a lot in that fight, or you'll die.
Yeah, you have to do it constantly. Yeah.
and so Mickey looks like he's mad, and you apologize for disobeying him. He's like, "Well, I guess you've got a lot of friends to help." And everyone's
I
like,
don't know why Sora is obligated to obey King Mickey.
That's a good
Yeah,
what?
Sora's not one of his subjects.
No, he's not.
Is
Also, I don't know
Mickey
why
king
Goofy
of
and
all
Donald
the
do
worlds,
either.
Though
No, he's only king of Disney World.
"No."
Disney World, Disney
Well, if
World.
he is king of all the worlds, I'd like to see some credentials. Like, how does he claim that title?
So there's an explosion. Okay, yeah, this is great. Okay, this is a scene we need to talk about. There's an explosion, and a large piece of rock comes right for the king, aiming right for his little mouse head. Goofy knows Mickey's not going to survive that. Heroically pushes Mickey, or the king, out of the way, gets that rock to his head.
Mm-hmm.
He collapses on the floor. Everyone's like, "Goofy, you need to wake up." But Goofy doesn't wake up. He
Nope.
doesn't breathe.
His head half exploded.
His head has been caved in like so many coaches being killed by pop cans in the film Maximum Overdrive.
But yeah, it's pretty shocking because he does just die.
Yeah. Goofy's dead, guys.
Goofy's dead.
Goofy died.
He's dead
I think
now.
we should have a moment of silence.
So
Oh my God, Goofy's dead.
what do you guys think? Is there any words you want to speak of? Like, Goofy
Well, I
was
assume
in
that
your
Cloud's
life?
going to join the party now, so I'm pretty good. I'm good with this development.
Wow.
Maybe Squall?
Goofy definitely helped me out when I was younger. Like, seeing him have problems learning basic adult skills was like, okay, I'm not the only person who's having problems like learning how to do taxes or ski or drive a car. What about you? How did Goofy affect your life, Vanessa?
When I was a little girl, I traced a drawing of
I'm
Goofy
sorry.
onto a piece of paper, and I
Wow.
showed it to my dad, and he asked me if I had traced it, and I told him I hadn't, and then he was proud of me.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
I bet if you had been honest with him, he would have told you that it's okay to trace because everybody traces, even professionals trace.
Yeah, no.
And it's
that
important to learn that that's a real part of being an artist and not something to be ashamed of.
That is what a good dad would have said, but I had a bad dad, sad dad.
Mm-hmm.
I've had that conversation with my kids in the past. I'm a bad dad, sad dad, though.
No, you're not. You're a good dad.
Oh, yeah, I am.
I saw a video
Bad dad, sad dad.
of you hugging your girl child, and you looked so happy and tender, and it moved my little heart. And if you ever ask me to repeat that, I won't. So there.
Jim, do you have any?
It makes me sad that you think a video of me hugging
Goofy?
my child means that I'm a good parent because there's so much more to it.
I have a very special anecdote I want to share between me and Goofy. Goofy used to love it when I would take him to Wendy's because he loved Wendy's nuts. Smashed his face.
Oh, good one, Jim. Excellently done. As for me, I'm glad to see Goofy go. I hope that we can replace him with, like, Squall or Cloud, as I said. And that would be cool, right? Because then you would have the mix of Final Fantasy characters and Disney characters that would make sense for a game that is supposed to be a mix of Final Fantasy and Disney.
So Donald's futilely trying to bring him back by apologizing, and everyone gets real mad and then jumps into a fight. It's a lot of good team ups here. Everyone say your favorite team up right now. Who is your favorite team up in this big fight?
I liked fighting alongside Cloud. It was fun to fight alongside Cloud.
Yeah, I liked
fighting alongside Tifa because Tifa's cool. Mm-hmm. Can I ask a question to Jim?
Mm-hmm.
Jim, is Tifa just JRPG Pamela Anderson?
No. Would that make Cloud JRPG Tommy Lee?
Everybody knows that is the Final Fantasy IX Rat Boy.
Oh.
What was Rat Boy's name?
Zidane.
Thank you.
Zidane. So I don't remember all the team ups. I remember there's one after another. There was, Squall, Cloud, Tifa. Was there Yuffie?
Yuffie.
There was a Yuffie. Was there any others? Jim?
I feel like there was, no, maybe that is all of them.
There was Philip. Yeah. No, there was Philip from the Hercules thing. The little coach satyr.
No way.
No,
he's not
there?
In Hollow Bastion.
Like,
you're a liar.
Yeah, there's 4 fights little fights in a row where you're fighting against some Final Fantasy person.
No, guys. Philip on these nuts.
Oh man!
God! I walked into that one.
We all did.
At the end, you find out, hey, Goofy's there, and he's fine.
Yeah, Goofy's like, hey, I'm fine.
Which makes me think, we talked before about maybe Mickey being immortal, but I think it may be Goofy's immortal.
Well, we talked about that on your stream last night. Clearly, all of the Disney characters are immortals. Mm-hmm. Like, they're like the Fables in the comic series Fables. Mm-hmm. Or, I mean, frankly, a lot of other media have used this concept before. But they are immortals that seem to age but cannot seem to die. Mm-hmm. I mean, Goofy's brains got smashed out, and he was fine a few minutes later.
He got coached from Maximum Overdrive.
Sure. And, Mickey, obviously, we've seen. Pete, another one. All of the Disney characters are definitely immortal. Now, the Disney princesses and the Disney worlds, I'm not quite sure. Johnny thinks they're caught in a time loop, which may be accurate. We don't know.
And the only way that they break out of the time loop is by having extra movies made or TV shows, so they have more stuff to do. Anyway, so Goofy points to Xemnas, and it's like, it's that guy who's not Ansem, which I love because it just clears up everything.
Mm-hmm.
Mickey then remembers okay, this is where you see Mickey talking to Ansem, and Ansem's eating the ice cream, and this is where Ansem's worried about the worlds, and
well, Mickey, so you see Xemnas standing on a hill, he pulls his hood back, and Mickey has a flashback of when he met Xehanort for the first time, and he's like, oh, they look exactly the same. Xehanort must be imposter Ansem.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Why they look the same?
No, they're
they are the same.
They look the same. It's Xehanort and Xemnas.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Ansem.
And Ansem.
Well, the guy who calls himself Ansem, who's not Ansem. The guy who is not Ansem in this game, which I know
Xehanort
qualifies literally everyone in the universe other than Ansem, but is also very specifically Xehanort. Now that Mickey remembers his name, he decides he's going to chase after him, but you do get surrounded, and now you get to fight literally 1,000 Heartless. Literally.
1,000 Heartless.
But you have a lot of moves. You can grab onto a thing that kills 40 at a time. You got another rocket move that kills a bunch. It's just you, so you don't have access to all your drive forms, just your limit drive. But it's still pretty good.
Was this not a thing when this game came out? That they were all hyped up about?
This was I think the first Dynasty, or the second Dynasty Warriors game, the first big Muso style game had just come out. So that was a big thing. And so they were doing their own little Muso game in the middle of a Kingdom Hearts game.
I feel like I remember someone being like, there'll be 1,000 enemies on screen at once. Which I guess there are, but most of them just stand in rows while you fight the ones closest to you.
Yeah, you don't actually see 1,000 animated, except in a CG cutscene where you can see the artifacting, the HD versions or 4K versions. So you do defeat 1,000, and I liked it. So you run into Xemnas, who says, "What?" You run into Xemnas, who says he doesn't know Kairi, and that if Sora, and then Sora's like, "What about Riku?" He's like, "Oh, does Riku mean a lot to you?" "Yeah, tell me about Riku." And he says, "No, you'll have to ask Mickey about Riku."
That's not
Mickey's like, "Oh,
information
yeah,
you need."
Well, gotta go. And then Mickey runs after Xemnas / Xehanort through a portal, and Sora feels defeated. Right at this time, Axel shows up and says he's fallen into their trap, and that Xemnas...
This is all a bunch of organization nonsense. 4 or 5 of them just cycle out right here, and I could not keep track of what was going on.
There's another part where they're talking, where they all have different personalities and they're on their tall chairs.
I didn't even bother putting that in the notes because I didn't understand what was going on.
Because one of them has dice, and he's talking about gambling, and okay. So, where is it? Axel shows up, says he's fallen into their trap. He says Xemnas is using Sora to defeat all the Heartless, so the captive hearts are going to be released, which is what the organization's really after. He tells you what they want to do with the hearts. He won't tell you what he wants to do with the hearts, but I bet it has something to do with Kingdom Hearts. Sex shows up?
Saix?
Sorry. Saix shows up?
Sucks?
Do you like Saix? Saix shows up and says Axel's going to be punished for telling them too much. Sora says he wants to find Kairi.
Do you want to have
says they're
D's nuts?
Taking good care of her. And
do
Saix
you
is
want
the
to
one
have
who says
Saix
no.
with D's nuts? That's the question.
When Sora begs to see.
Sora does nuts.
Sora does literally beg to see her. He gets on his hands and knees, and that's when Saix says no. And then he summons some Heartless and leave, and they said once they have access to Kingdom Hearts, he will finally exist. And then, this is great, Maleficent shows up and says, no, if there's something called Kingdom Hearts, it is going to be something that belongs to me. Something good enough to have the name Kingdom Hearts. And Sora says, no more Heartless. Don't bring any Heartless. They're making the other people more powerful. And she's like, whatever. I'm going to summon 1,000,000 Heartlesses.
Mm-hmm.
And this gets weird. Maleficent then summons a green firewall that puts a barrier between you and the nobodies. And she says, Go, Sora, find a way to destroy the Heartless.
It's really bad.
Yeah. It's weird.
This
But
is
she's
where,
like, but I still
then-
hate you, just FYI.
And then Maleficent is like, "Hey, Sora, do you like pudding?" And he's like, "No, what are you talking about?" And she's like, "Putting these nuts in your mouth."
oh! And then she does get covered in the nobodies or what are they called? The Wiggles?
Those are called husks.
The Dusks. Dusk something? Dusk something?
Yeah, dusk.
Yeah, the
Husk is Mass Effect. These
Right.
are dusks.
The Dusks like cover her, and then Sora like collapses on the ground and says like, "What are we gonna do? Everything's bad." Cut to Leon and Cloud. Cloud says Sora's the Keyblade's chosen one, and they'll all be okay. Cut back to Sora and the gang fighting more Heartless. Well, actually, okay, this is weird. Cut to the spaceship where Sora's like, I'm glad we're out of that crazy situation. How did we get out of it again? Then cut back to them fighting the Heartless and Maleficent sucks them into darkness and Sora wakes up and he thinks he's in the realm of darkness where Riku is. So he starts calling for Riku. He finds a box and the box has a photo of all the people in Twilight Town. It's got Pierce.
Box liquor?
And Kyprol and
Boehner,
Duloxetine
Omelet.
and
Oubliette.
and then Sora's like, "Oh, I know that one. That's Roxas." And like, "Oh, is this someone you know?" Sora's like, "No, I haven't met him. I just know that his name is Roxas." And there's also some sea salt ice cream, and Donald starts eating it, and they're like, "You're gonna eat that? It was in this box on the floor in the middle
Yeah.
of darkness." And just
That was funny though. Like, are you gonna eat that? And he's like, "It's salty
And just to be clear,
sweet."
Yeah, he's
when
like,
we say he eats it,
"Salty."
we mean
And
that
then
he
he-
holds it up against his beak and his tongue comes out and goes,
oh no.
Yeah, and he first he goes, salty? And then a little bit more. Nip, 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 nip. Sweet!
And then it floats up into the air, and there's a keyhole, and Sora shoots it with his Keyblade, and he's got to keep looking for Kyrie. And I feel like this is a good place to end it, so let's...
I was just gonna say that. I feel like this is a good place to stop.
yeah, it's a good place to stop. Sorry, we were going to do Land of Dragons, but that's more the next episode thing anyways.
Yeah.
But this
so for next episode, we'll play.
the important thing to remember is that Goofy fucking died. Goofy, the beloved Disney character, got his skull smashed in.
Yeah, one of the famous five, or whatever
And then
they call
came
them.
back like he's Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it makes sense because Goofy is like the knight errant for Mickey, so he would be tough.
Tough enough to come back from the dead?
Tough enough to come back from the dead. Now that's
Are you tough enough
Tough
for these nuts?
All right, next time.
next time we'll do Land of Dragons 2, Beast Castle 2, and Olympus 2.
Okay.
And just so that we're clear, guaranteed 100% less D's nuts jokes.
I hope so.
50%.
Okay, 50%.
Would that be a dis nut joke?
Oh,
Don't worry, there'll
hey.
be 50% less of D's nuts in your mouth.
Ooh.
That nut.
Did we get any emails? There were mini
Hopefully
games,
not.
but we'll talk about them when we do the Pooh Worlds.
We got a very nice email that included a instruction not to read it on the air. So, thank you, anonymous emailer.
It sounds like it's a good time to talk about what we are squarely against. Jim.
I was very, like, whenever, I don't know what it is about the organization, but when they show up on screen and start talking, my body, like, shuts down, and I have to try so hard to stay awake. Like, it seriously puts me to sleep. It does. It's like, it's strange. So that stuff is just so boring
This
to me.
is your quote-unquote favorite game of all time.
Yeah, but, like,
that you're
all
talking
these-
about. And you're talking about how sometimes the cutscenes literally put you to sleep.
Yeah.
Best game I've ever played. Sometimes it makes me nap.
It makes me want to take a nap. Like, when I don't know who most of these organization people are. I don't know what their deal is. But they're just boring, and I wish the game had less of them. John, what are you squarely against?
I am squarely against that Artemis Solanki fight with the guy with the books, because that got so frustrating. Like, at one point he had a sliver of health left, and then he caught me in a book, and then I didn't find the book that wasn't real in time, or the real book in time. And then he just did a series of magic attacks that just killed me, and I didn't have time to heal. And I screamed so loud that I'm going to clip out that highlight on Twitch because I got so angry. What about you, Vanessa?
I am squarely against the idea that I would ever be able to tell these Organization 13 people apart. Not only do they all dress alike, they all have stupid names. I apologize to any listeners who share names with these people.
I named my child Roxas, Vanessa.
I know. I'm not counting Roxas as Organization 13. He has nothing to do with them, as far as I know.
That's not true at all.
So yeah, I rather famously cannot tell people apart as it is, and the idea that I would be able to tell these anime weeboos who I cannot even see their face apart is absurd. I resent it. I resent even being asked to do it, which I am by the narrative. Matt, what are you squarely against?
I am roundly for Lion King Sora. I loved it. I loved Lion Sora. I loved running around as Lion Sora. I loved jumping and dashing as Lion Sora. It was delightful and fun, and it's a real bummer that you all are dorks that don't like it.
I liked it.
I didn't get to play it.
End of discussion.
I think we have an email.
No, we don't.
How
many times have we said that we don't have an email?
Somebody put an email in the group chat.
Yeah, because Joel was crying because I didn't show him the email from the person who didn't want their email read on the air.
Well, so I guess in lieu of emails, we'll talk about our Patreon. We have a Patreon. You can check it out at patreon.com/SquareRootsPodcast. We have a lot of great bonus material on there. Some Square Roots Versus episodes. Some, what else do we have on there? Some instant classics. A lot of, I don't know. It would be interesting to see how many hours of bonus content we have on our Patreon, because I think it's quite a bit. We just released a 2-hour discussion of the new Mortal Kombat movie, which was really something. So, and all of that's available at the $3 level. If you subscribe at the $5 level, you get access to all that sweet bonus content, plus the ability to vote on games that we play on the podcast. So check that out. Like I said, patreon.com/SquareRootsPodcast. Another benefit that we give our patrons, regardless of your subscription level, we will read your Patreon usernames on the air. So I will kick us off this week by thanking David Shook, Peak Nomura Nonsense, Hat Ben, the Ben with the Hat, Vanessa's Gold Taco Bell PS5, welcome to Cute Boy JL Honk Honk, David Green, Jim's awesome Vivi tattoo from that terrible Kingdom Hearts 2 game, these MFs don't even like Beetlejuice, OMG, what is this game? Do Good Recklessly, Alex Dillard, Fresh Eyes, I'm only doing this to vote for Kingdom Hearts 2, Eric Garb, Amanda Douglas, Andy Best, Sean Gonzalez, Wawa Weewa, Citra C, Mary Queen of Scoffs, Clone of the Nobody of the Heartless of a Patron, Metal Gear Solid 1 in 2021, Randy P, Armin Hammer, Robert J. Defendi, Michael Crawford, Huxley Iguana, Jack Mazzell, Stan Ferguson, Zachary Train, Nathan Poirot, Sean, Nick, Isaac Wright, Andrew Leinart, Eyes of the Shifter, Tracy the Board Queen, Double Fart Daddy, Frick and Frack, and fuck you.
What? I'd like to thank DJ Ethro. Rubber Bear shall henceforth be known as Leg Action Man. Pluto is not really a person. MC Genesis raps a Doseki. Justin Rash, Cameron Shoei, Soy Soda Pop, Wash in the Wind, Gunblading Sid, Jonathan Ellsworth, Aaron JL O'Toole, Kevin Wilder, Tyler Petty, Hexagon, Still Just Cows, Nobody Has an Unpronounceable Name, I See Wieners, Tracy, Happy Pride Lands Week, Motherbox Milkers, Devin Sloan, Matthew Newland is a soul clone or some shit, I don't know, Adam Zimmerman, Aiden Marriott, Ward Childress, PJ Ends, Joshua W. Broxson, Hudson Roth, Listen Up Scoot Stains, Andres Rivera, Andy Smith, Brian Pitt, Grey Code, The RPG Luminary, Ian Frederick, Florian Jonas Kramer, Rubber Baby Buggy Bumpers, Vanessa's 9'6" with hat and heels mom, and Gage La Charité.
That did not say Rubber Baby Buggy Bumpers.
Oh, Rubber Bugger Hubby Bonkers? Oh, jeez.
Rubber Buggy Hubby Bunkers.
No, it's Baby Bugger Hubby Bonkers.
Oh. I would like to thank Cyril the Wolf, Chris Ryan. Chief Hazard built a complicated filing system for all of Vanessa's floppy-haired boyfriends. Thank you. Let's stop screwing around and use this sweet, sweet Patreon money to buy the rights to Shadow Hearts and save it from limbo. Ding Dong Ping Pong Song Sung Wrong by King Wong. Paul Birch, Mostly Rational Person, David Pascal, Sergeant Spaghetti, John Scala hails Marcus Harnsbury, Sean Walsh, Ari Kopavara, Megan Sullivan, Joseph Volderoth, Ethan G. Pearson, Race Jenkins, Miguel Torres, WWE Mike G, Robert T, Samu Mitchell, Tom, George Brady, DP 2099, William Westgard, Justin Ham, Roxas, spelled sideways is Sorax, Kingdom Farts Pooh, Ross Hartley, Alexander Jokic, Frockstong, Andy M, Christian Go, Robert M. Polam, Jason Timms, and I Am Fart.
Jim.
I would like to think I have to be going at Ethel. I've got some important lines to stand in.
Ethel.
Ethel?
Yeah.
Ethel. Aaron Bachman, Grayson, there are two wolves inside of me, and they won't stop talking about light and darkness. Please help. Jake Dickerson, Ryan Miller, Matthew Casterline. Pooh sounds like an asthmatic old man.
What a monster.
It's true. Roll to Earth, Hat Kung Lao with the hat. Stu Skeel, Bofa D's nuts. That's not real. Ally, I'm Commander Squall, and this is my favorite store on the garden. Wedge Coon, CharityWater.org. Sexy Grandma's Boy Toy is more like Kingdom Hearts is our plight. Zimj, Axon Savs, Twexstam, and Nixhonj. Brigirth, Dylan Rowe, Arthur A., Chris Pignac, Joshua Benoit, Uxum, Jameson. When performing The Stranger, is it technically Stranger Danger? Oogie Boogie is an emergent consciousness of invertebrates, and therefore cannot truly die. Stephen Paget, Lauren Prince, Cassandra, Come Guardian draws near, command. Chris Wilder, Dr. Fine, say everyone's name, Tyler Crump, Chris Highness, Vanessa's Renegade Cheese Plate.
And?
I would like you all to go back through your own lists and see what I added.
All right, everyone. That's it for this episode of Square Roots. If you'd like to send us an email, you can reach us at squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. Come see us on our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group for smart, cool, very attractive people, or hit us up on Twitter at Square Roots Pod.
Please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, Ghana, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Also, very
Spotify!
special welcome to our new Spotify listeners. For all our classic episodes, check out our archive at squareroots.libsyn.com. That's LIBSYN, or on our Square Roots RSS feed. Everyone, please follow us on Spotify. If you have the Spotify app, because it will help increase our visibility and get more ears listening to these sweet words.
We just think it's important that Spotify listeners get to listen to great jokes like Goblin D's Nuts.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, everyone. For Square Roots, I am Jim Banks.
I'm Why Don't You Spotify D's Nuts?
I'm Johnny Brandon these nuts.
And I'm just a little goblin. Goblin D's
Goblin
Nuts.
D's Nuts.
Bye.